I mean, honestly, at this point, I should just restart my streaming software every single time. My audio software every single time I start a stream, because this is getting frickin' ridiculous, bro. What's happened to my chat? Where's my chat gone? My chat has disappeared. Why is this? Why has my chat fully disappeared? That's why. It's being silly. Hey, Thorny, thank you so much for the resub there, brother. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. The perfectly planned intro wasted. Oh, Womprat. Oh, Womprat, it's good of you to assume that I plan anything. Ha! Shadow of No One, how you doing, buddy? What would we harass you about if you did that? I mean, that's true, Trader. I mean, I'm sure you guys would find something. You guys are pretty good at finding something to harass me about, so I have faith in you. I have faith in you. Scott, how are you doing? Lava Crawler, how are you today? How do we fight the kings of tomorrow? Oh, I don't know. Do we want to? He'll be joining us next, don't you worry. He's sat down in the VC at the moment. I'm just waiting for things to get going here. You know, we don't just jump straight into Tribe Talks. We usually have a little bit of a warm-up, 5 minutes warm-up, and then we'll be good to go. Irishman, how you doing today, buddy? You good? Booful, how are you? Yep, so we will not have our usual lineup of guests today. Today we will be joined by Rabid Beaver and Ranger, as well as Carthrick. So Wolfie has got his birthday this weekend. He is out relaxing with his family, as he should be. Birthdays are a family occasion. He's relaxing with his family, so he's not going to be with us tonight. And that's quite all right. You like that progress on Marin? Yep, Marin has been indeed progressing. 34 out of 300. We are over 10% of the way there to our Marin right now. Robbie, how you doing? Castro, how you doing? Can Slacker beat JMK in 3v3? I imagine so. I imagine so. It won't be good banners, but I imagine so. Hey, the goodest, how you doing? So yeah, we'll get cracking in a couple of minutes here. Just a couple of minutes. Just want to greet everybody. Everybody gets to know what the business is with today's stream. What's the topic going to be? Well, I mean, as everybody knows, the Tribe Talks podcast is an incredibly regimented and agendaed podcast where we have very, very strict rules of which we follow, and we do not deviate. No, there's no real topic or agenda. We're just here to have a chat. That's all it is. We'll probably talk about some stuff. We'll probably talk about the new phalanx in the game. We'll probably talk about, you know, who Rabid Beaver is, what's his business, how does he get into the Galaxy of Heroes content creation game, and all that sort of jazz. And other than that, we'll be answering the questions that are in my Discord channel. So our podcast is super relaxed, super chilled. We just sit here and have a good time. A couple of Star Wars nerds sitting back and having a chat about Galaxy of Heroes. And that's kind of it, really, buddy. It's kind of it. The rule is, there are no rules. I think that's about right. That's the great thing. We don't have no rules. Hey, Eli, how you doing? Ty Guy, how are you? Lou? No worries, next, no worries. We aim to have an enjoyable time. That's all it is. Enjoyable time where we just sit back and chat about the shared love that is Galaxy of Heroes. That's all we're here to do. Are you from the UK? Amazing. I salute you right back from the UK. One of the few remaining UK-based Galaxy of Heroes content creators. There are a couple of us, but we are not the many, we are the few. But by God are we beautiful. And bald. Well, I am. Kind of depends, Caleb. R3 Wampa, Can get stuff done. It just depends what you're taking him up against. Light side Kyra is 10 times easier to get than dark side Kyra. That's a good thing, if it is the case, because, light side Kyra is used about 3 times as frequently. All right. Okay. So we are going to get things rolling here ever so shortly. Ever so shortly. Ever so shortly. You can see that Ranger and Rabbit are both already waiting in chat, so they are probably getting well acquainted. They're probably getting well acquainted. Let us join them. Let us join them. Hello, gentlemen. How are we today?
Yeah.
I see. A very eloquent response from you, Mr. Ranger.
That's right.
That's right. Howdy. That's how we do.
That's what you get for Sunday.
That's what you get for Sundays.
I was watching your stream, and it was like 3 seconds behind, and so it scared the shiz out of me when you suddenly spoke.
It's all good business. It's all good business. Now, I need to arrange some screens because we have twice as many rabid beavers as the average stream. Right, let's figure this out. Let's figure this out. And now people are moving around. This doesn't confuse me in the slightest.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. All right, hold up. We might have liftoff. Who knows? Who knows? Rangers looking beautiful as always. You always look beautiful, Ranger. That's true. And I think we've got Karth who's just chilling, but he's not doing camera things just yet because he's probably eating some food.
No, I'm being lazy and trying to do my arena climb. And I don't have the free hand yet.
Oh, I see. That's how most people join the tribe talks, is with one hand. Am I right?
Yeah.
Sounds like some wild streams.
Oh, hell yeah. That's the only way we roll.
There's a reason why the camera only captures facial expressions. We'd be banned off Twitch otherwise.
Yep. And I always do my streams pantless. So, yeah, it's just convenient. That's all it is.
Yeah. He's got a good layover when he gets up for a drink. Because I'm at the Equip's pants. It's a sophisticated technology.
Yeah.
Really should have got Gom some of that technology.
Oh, wow. Poor Gom.
And Heinze.
I would pay so much money for automatic pants.
Velcro is the solution.
Pants? Who wears pants?
They're overrated, right, Ranger? All right, so today, ladies and gentlemen, we have got the largest tribe talks we've ever had because there are 4 people all trying to talk over each other. It's going to be great. It's going to be so good.
We've had that once before, though.
Have we? Who did we have?
Yeah, we had Ranger with Wolfie and myself.
Oh, God, what a terrible, terrible idea. Both Ranger and Wolfie? God damn. Who thought that was a smart idea?
I'm going to shut the fuck up. I was like, God damn it, Wolf.
Go do another hit.
Nobody wants to hear you talk. Be quiet. I'm trying to hold the spotlight here.
Exactly.
I'm special too.
Oh, please. You know what's not special, Karth? It's not special is that we couldn't face Arnold, and it was dead after the first round because Arnold went 2-0, and so we didn't.
Well, we didn't really support that in round 2 either.
No, we screwed the pooch at every opportunity. Apparently, it was just like, it's just not going to happen today, guys. It's not on the cards, and that's just the way it's going to be.
There was a reason why in the notes I sent you on Iden, there was multiple things, and the last one was possibly overkill because I didn't have a good answer for it. But that might have gone out the window the second we tried to clear north into the south first, and so I was like, oh.
Yeah. Oh, no. Well, to be fair, our opponent one tapped, so as soon as we dropped the first battle, we lost. It was like,
no. The thing with Seer Malicos is like there was one thing that you did that kind of screwed it up a little bit, and it but that was because you used Malicos' first special before he had 20 stacks. And so
so he didn't get the bonus turn.
Yeah. Well, you didn't get the bonus turn, but you didn't reset the cooldown on throwing rocks, so you had to wait 3 more turns to get it.
And it
So
was
the fight drug out way too long, and then that will always mean that Ray wins if the fight, because she just starts ramping at a certain point.
Yeah, it was just a weird one because it literally has never happened to me. I was like, okay, yeah, usually by this point everything's just dead, but she did have a whole boatload of health. So
that was
and. Cal Kestis does keep her alive longer. But before we dive into the nitty-gritty and start going off on a tangent, we do have a guest with us today. So Mr. Rabid Beaver, welcome to the Tribe Talks podcast. I've tried to explain to the viewers at home that this is an incredibly tightly run ship. We run a very rigid agenda here, and we do not deviate. And if you deviate from my plan, which, let me hold, it's right here.
It's a good thing your plan is...
My plan is no plan.
That just looked like blank paper on a notebook.
Actually, I think you'll find, Ranger, this is a direct copy from my thought patterns. All right? There's nothing on it.
It looks like blank paper and a notepad.
Yeah. There you go. I got the perfect the gift for you in patron chat there, Scribe.
Oh, thank you, buddy. Thank you, buddy.
I know these things. I didn't graduate from the 3rd grade for nothing, you know.
How can it be a plan if it's improvised? Indeed, that's my life. So Rabbit, I don't know if you want us to call you Rabbit or Beaver or Rabbit Beaver or RB or what is it? How'd you like to be known, buddy?
Honestly, Rabbit Beaver, Rabbit, whatever works for you works for me. I've been using that username since I was like 10 and started playing Halo 3 online. So like,
back in
whatever.
Back on the nitty-gritty days, man, that gamer tag must have gotten you some flack.
Oh yeah, dude, everything got you flack back then when you were.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, good stuff, man.
The good days, the good old days.
Yeah, I do appreciate you coming on the show today, man. I really do. It's I know it was a last minute sort of thing, so appreciate your time today. Yeah, I'm kind of curious, Beaver, because as content creators go, and Galaxy of Heroes in general, there's a lot of content creators for this game, big and small. And I have a hard time keeping track of absolutely everybody. So I don't know a whole lot about your history in Galaxy of Heroes. Like, how long have you been doing content creation? How long have you been playing the game? I'm curious.
So I've been doing content creation more or less for the last 3-4 years, I think. Just on and off doing videos for fun. Just because it was always a dream of me and my buddy back in high school of like making a YouTube channel. We were super into Markiplier way back when and all that. Yeah. And so it was like, oh yeah, when we get to college, we want to make YouTube channels. And so I just randomly made a video and I was like, I can't send this over Discord because it's too big. I guess I'll make a YouTube. And so it kind of started that way, just to show some friends some videos. And then it's only been, November, so 5 months since I started being a SWGoH content creator.
Gotcha.
I've thought about doing SWGoH and doing Marvel Strike Force content for a while, but just never got around to, putting in a ton of work into it or anything. And then I posted a Ray guide, GL Ray. When the Lightspeed bundles came out, I got to the point where, I could unlock Ray, but I didn't have C-3PO, I didn't have R2-D2, and every guide was like, oh yeah, you just throw in C-3PO and R2-D2 in that tier 1 and you're fine. Same with tier 2. I was like, oh, I don't have them. And so I was like, hey, I've got a Zori at gear 9, and figured out that it's the easiest thing in the world. So I posted that, got tons of views, and kind of just snowballed from there.
No, it's good business, man. Good business. So about 5 months doing like Galaxy of Heroes specific content. You found your break with Array Guide. That's funny actually, because like when I first started doing YouTube videos for Galaxy of Heroes all those years ago, like my break was on not on GL unlocking, but GL countering, soft countering GLs with no GLs and stuff like that. That was back in the original Ray versus Slacker days, or Ray and Slacker days. So it's funny how like one little video can get you noticed, and then it's just then you have 3-4 years worth of hard graft behind you, and somebody might actually know your channel on the off chance. Like it takes a hell of a lot of work, but it's good business. It's good business. No, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. And how long you been playing the game?
Ooh, so it is April 14th. So that means in a week and 2 days, I'll have been playing for 3 years.
Oh, nice. Okay. So,
yeah,
like many of us,
that you have that date memorized.
Oh, I was going to say,
so,
do you not? I remember the day I started.
No.
It was like near like Thanksgiving, Christmas time in like
2015. Yeah.
Yeah. And I might have started playing the first time, and then I put it down for like a year, and then came back and played some more, and then I have no idea on the dates.
Yeah, I mean,
joined SWGoH back in like 2018 or something like that.
Gotcha.
The reason that I have the date though is it's because it's the same day that I started a job, and the guy who was training me at the job is the one who encouraged me to start playing the game. And a whole bunch of the people I was working around also played the game. And so I started playing then, and so it's also when my PTO rolls over and everything. So it's just like it's a date I just kind of have anyways.
I really like how your trainer or your boss is actually encouraging you to skive off work and take toilet breaks to get your arena climbs in. He's like, hey, I'm never bored at work.
If you need a quick 5-minute break, go to your TW battles.
Oh yeah,
I love it. So, gentlemen, how are we all? How's business?
Business is good.
Yeah, good. And what are you drinking there, Ranger? That doesn't look like Foster's.
And nor will it be. It's ginseng tea with honey.
I was not expecting ginseng tea with honey.
Well, when I'm not drinking Foster's, I'm not drinking crap.
It's only 1:30 in the afternoon, Scribe.
Yeah, I know, right? Jesus,
you're the only one here it's after 5 o'clock.
Don't listen to this, Alki. All right.
It's the weekend. There are no rules on when you have to start drinking or when you have to stop drinking or when you can start.
I had an Irish coffee this morning. Went out for some breakfast.
Exactly. There you go. See?
But yeah, I'm on a strict diet right now. I'm getting ready for that May the 4th event, which is going to be an all-day thing. So between working out and rehab and that, and my diet is consistently meat, eggs, more meat, tea, and lots of water.
Nice.
Great.
Mm-hmm. How's the arm doing? Is it okay? Or
it's okay. Yeah, it's getting a lot better. Well, no, I have to wear the brace regardless of whether it's okay or not. It's not hurting. It's way less pain than I was before. It's still good twinges here and there, but I am able to start working out now, so that's good. But yeah, it's like for that 2 weeks, it's like heat for 20 minutes, ice for 20 minutes, heat for 20 minutes, ice for 20 minutes.
I'm far too lazy to be injured because that sounds like a lot of hassle. Like I don't have the time.
If I didn't want to be working out and doing the stuff I was doing, then I would just chill.
Yeah, that's
just die before you hit 50. No, you don't have to worry about it.
My fucking time is limited then. Jesus.
So,
I mean, that's it, right?
What is that phrase? To dying young as late as possible.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, the good thing about dying, before you hit 50 is that, you don't have to, have a really late retirement, I guess. You're not working till you're 65, 70.
You don't save for retirement. You don't need to worry about any of it. You just
it's all over.
Blow through your money like a coked up rock star, and then you're good to go.
Live fast, die hard, and all that business. Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Perfect opportunity. So what do we have in Galaxy of Heroes this week? I think there was a Gungan that came out, wasn't there?
There was a Gungan.
With an incredible Omicron, I hear.
Two Gungans, technically.
Yeah, it was the phalanx, right? The phalanx symbol that came out?
The phallus.
Phalanx?
Yeah.
The phalanx.
Oh, phalanx.
Yeah, I prefer the phallus. Yeah, the big purple phallus that he's holding.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep. That one.
Monsters.
It seems all right. I still think, we don't really get the full picture till we see Jar Jar. But any thoughts, guys?
We got a pretty good idea. We just don't know what Jar Jar is going to change in the dynamic, right? Where is that going to push the team? Because you could run the team right now, Karth, and it's pretty good against Separatists, but it isn't very good against a lot of other things.
The problem is if you're not modded for just breakneck speeds right now, they will just destroy your shield generator in a heartbeat. And so it's like, until we have a better way of defending that or getting like a pre-taunt or just being faster all the time, then it's really, really challenging.
I wouldn't be surprised if his kid had, plus 30 speed to the Gungans and all this craziness that we've seen with some of these other kids where you're just like,
How about a permanent, undispellable, unpreventable stealth on the shield generator for the entire match if Jar Jar's there?
Well, so the shield generator can't gain buffs in general. They've already stated that part of it, which is actually kind of nice because versus Reva, it's good not having the pre-taunt because Grand Inquisitor will try to torture the shield generator and it can't land. So
that's quite funny.
I love that.
Yeah, there's a lot of mechanics where you're just like, oh, buddy, sorry.
That's rough.
But shield generator's tied to Boss Nass, right?
Yeah, but it's its own standalone unit. It doesn't go away when Boss Nass is defeated.
No, I mean it's his unique that summons it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it has to be full Gungans?
It has to be full Gungans, yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to think of some weird use for Boss Nass in a Phoenix team versus Reva to summon a shield generator.
Well, so Boss Nass is going to be one of those characters. Like, it's going to be a turn order team again, right? Like, that's going to be the thing to sort out is the turn order you want to take.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Boss Nass is the fastest at 177. And then I believe Boombadir and Tarpals are one speed apart. I think one's 174, the other one's 173. I think Tarpals is slightly faster. And then Phalanx is 160 something, high 150, somewhere in there. So there's Boss Nass has the same kind of idea as Queel, right? He passes 25% turn meter.
Yeah.
On the first special, and will make your tank taunt. So it's like you have to play the game of you'll want everybody to be within 25% of going next, right? Mm-hmm. And then you'll want to have Boss Nass use the first special and then get the taunt up, and then you'll probably want Boombadir going next, and then you want Boombadir to pass the turn back to Boss Nass, and then you'll want Boss Nass to use his second special, and then you want Tarpals to go after that, because then Tarpals will deal all that additional damage with his AoE, because all the debuffs you can have would be in place. Now, that's before we know Jar Jar's kit. We don't know what Jar Jar else is going to add to the debuffs and things of that nature. But
all we know is that he's going to add chaos, apparently, according to Meathead. So that's. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there is a new blue icon called Chaos. Like, not a buff, not a debuff. Status effect, blue icon, Chaos applies to all members of both parties at the start of battle, and something happens due to that. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too much into that, but...
I mean, I would be wildly surprised if they didn't use some form of confusion in his kit.
Mm-hmm.
Wildly surprised they don't. But, I mean... They need to have something that Jar Jar's kit, I guarantee you, if it's not one of his Omicrons, it will be part of his regular unique, where he Gungan allies cannot lose health until they've lost all protection. Because
that for real sounds like GAC army material to me.
Yeah, but it's 100% what they're gonna need to do, because otherwise, dear God, man, like you're gonna just cheese the team. It's like, what hits under
Assassin
protection?
will ruin it.
Yeah, Darth Malgus will just go, boop, will just fear you into the floor, and then Sith Assassin can just one-shot Boss Nass.
It's curious, though, like, because I get where you're coming from and stuff like that, because the fact that they've got 25% of their actual max health at the start of battle, like, that makes them extremely susceptible to attacking under protection. But at the same time, it's not like attacking under protection is a massively common trait. And on the surface, I'm actually okay with there being some counters that's just like, this just ruins Gungans. It's like, yep.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think, like I said, I would bet it would probably be one of his GAC armies is to shut down.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Counters.
Yeah.
Because it's still not that hard of a team to work around. Like anywhere where you can, direct fire away from the tanks or whatever, then it's just you immediately eat them. It's like, as long as you can get that once the shooter pops, the fight's over. Like the Gungans just fold in a couple of turns.
Yeah. pretty much.
I'll be honest, I haven't done a lot of them.
It's kind of hard to get up.
And keep, right?
Like as soon as it dispels, it's just gone.
Yeah. I think it comes back when they hit the shield generator, but you don't, like, the whole point of the taunt is to stop them doing that, right?
They have to remove 2 stacks from the shield generator. So if they're just doing one hit in the turn, then it's just, the taunt doesn't go back up.
Oh, that's gross. That's gross.
Yeah.
I don't
anything
like
that
it.
Constantly dispels, like gas, is just going to wreck it. So there's got to be some sort of safety net inside of GAC. Otherwise, it's like, what's the point of doing this again?
Night Sisters hit under protection with Plague. Yeah, Plague.
Yeah.
Is Plague's damage based on max health?
Yeah, aren't they immune to Plague? Aren't they like a natural counter to Night Sisters?
No, that's a good question.
Well, I believe while the shield generator is up, is it? They take reduced damage from percentile health effects. And they have very little max health anyway, so that percentile health effect isn't going to do a lot of damage.
It's just, if you can get under it, then you can start plinking away at it.
Is there much in the way of healing in the Gungan team? I really haven't paid attention to it.
There's a lot of protection recovery. I don't know if I think Boss Nass has some health recovery, but I think most of their stuff is protection. Yeah,
so like I'm thinking, like if you get Plague, obviously the only way to get rid of it is to get to 100% health, right? I don't know. Sounds kind of horrible to me. Who knows? I'm sure we'll find out sooner or later. Well, I imagine that Jar Jar won't be too far away now that we have everybody. We have all the other Gungans, the requirements. Karth only has them at Relegate, though, so...
Well, I mean, I almost I'm like 2 more days away from Bundir.
Oh, okay. Phalanx, you mean?
Yeah, sorry, Phalanx. The one of the guys. Okay.
The new one.
The newest one, yeah.
Yeah, Phalanx.
I'll have them all up there, but with the teaser, I'm fairly well convinced they're looking for a May the 4th release.
Yeah, seems pretty reasonable.
I was a little panicked, honestly, because like with Mommy Mandalore when she came out, it was like 2 weeks after the last character came out, and like it was like, oh, I can't farm the characters like at all. And so I was really worried they do the same with Jar Jar, and I'm hoping they don't. I'm hoping for a May the 4th because it'll give me the time to finish relicking the last one and, get the team ready to go. So,
yeah, Bo-Katan Mandalore is just such an anomaly when it comes to legendary releases. They've never done anything like that before.
But they've never had a legendary that shows back up every month too, so...
Or appear that early, but after everything's farmable.
Well, yeah.
After everything's farmable, Keller and Beck was
in the game. Yeah, in the game, not farmable. In the game,
just in the game in general. I was like, "What the deuce? This is
what the
deuce."
It made more sense once we got the reoccurring portion of it.
Sure.
Then it was like, oh, okay, all right, we can deal with this now. This is fine. But definitely the beginning was just like, what the hell are they smoking? Why are they trying to push this like this early into everybody? And well, the answer was
proof was in the pudding when 900 people unlocked it, so it was like the smallest legendary unlock ever.
Well, you're awful. Pushing tons of people out of the ability to even potentially unlock it by doing that.
Yeah,
but
these new marquees are a lot easier for people to actually get involved, but I still imagine there's a bunch of free-to-play players that just will not engage with getting any sort of pack, So
no, they might spend some of their crystals to get like the 5-star for free or whatever else they want to do. But there's not many people that are going to farm them through shipments or anything else like that. They're gonna get it through the normal farm time. But I'm fairly confident that Jar Jar is either going to be permanent or like Bo come back once a month, and then we're going to get like 2 or 3 passes at him before the raid comes out. I think the raid's looking for sometime in July, August is what I'm thinking for the raid.
Yeah. I have a feeling he's going to be permanent. I can't see him being on rotation, like 3 monthly rotation, because it would just make it so hard for people to engage with it when the new raid comes out. It's like...
Yeah.
Well, they're clearly going to be the ones that are going to easily max the scores. So it's like, why would you throttle that team from everybody.
Yeah, exactly. And community sentiment as well. People will just be pissed, man. People will be pissed. They're like, the best character isn't around now for another 3 months, so I guess screw my raid score. And, we know that these raids are only going to be around for 9 months to a year. So if you all of a sudden miss 3 months of the best team, or the best legendary for the raid, it's like people won't go for Jar Jar if they think they're not going to get the use out of him. So yeah, that's what makes me think. Yeah, go ahead.
I hope I'm not giving CG an idea here. But honestly, I could see them pulling something where they go, hey, here's Jar Jar, and then 3 months later they drop the raid and then bring back Jar Jar one time before the raid and then do like a monthly cadence after that to try and make it so that way people try to panic farm leading up to the raid.
Yeah, sure. It'd be like a proper
generate
thing,
revenue.
Right? Yeah. I think we had spoken about this in previous tribe talks, actually, exactly the same sort of thing, where it's like they release it now and then they release it in 3 months time when the raid drops or just before the raid drops, just to drive that, oh my god, we got to get Jar Jar right now, guys. So yeah,
well, I think that's why they're going to keep I think that's why they'll lean permanent, and they'll slow release getting those characters farmable. And make you like panic shipment, like, oh my god, they're not going to shipments fast enough. I need to buy the shards, and then because you don't know when the raid's going to come, and then because it's like Bo-Katan, like this is the 5th time she's been out. April was the 5th time. They quit putting her in shipments, and so you had everyone panic farming and trying to buy the packs through the gift exchange to get the last 50 shards they needed for Bo-Katan, and so it's like. They kind of know what they're doing, but like for me, if you're going to make one of the best teams a legendary, that legendary better be accessible because it's your showcase for the raid, right? So like it better be accessible and for a little bit of time prior to the raid even being out. So I could, at the worst of it, I would see monthly, and it would probably show up about 3 or 4 times before the raid goes live, or they just say screw it and make it permanent, and they drop it earlier than we anticipate. Which I mean. I can't see them doing anything before May the 4th. It just doesn't make sense.
I definitely feel like it'll be I'm leaning more towards permanent just because it feels like they've kind of already got the investment out of a lot of players by the way they schedule these marquees with the incredibly useful way of making it more accessible to dolphins, like getting a bunch of free shards, so you only need to 6-star the character to get him to 7-star. You only need to 5-star the character to get him to 6-star. Like, that's such a huge incentive for a lot of players that maybe they'll just be like, yeah, actually, you know what, screw it, we'll just put it in permanent. We've already gained more than we usually get for average marquees, and they've done it with 4 characters. So, failing that, it may well be monthly like Bo, but I don't know. I feel like it'll just be a permanent one, just because of how everything clips together. That's just my 2 cents.
No, I'm kind of on the same page. It's like, I think they're just going to drop the event and they'll do the panic farm for when you get that raid announcement. Like, oh my god, when's the raid coming? Then people are going to be, as you said, Karth, spending crystals or getting packs. Trying to make sure that they're ready for the raid. I think that's the way they're going to do it.
And the slight pivot on this too, just to kind of cement that idea behind it, is. What was data mined a couple of days ago was a new chase bundle, which is brand new to the game. So that means we're getting another ship showing up probably within the next month. That lines up
same as last year, right?
Yep. So they're going to start dumping. They're going to start dumping for the new GL ship or the Journey Guide ship, right?
It'll be kind of cool. It's going to be telling whatever faction this new ship is.
Oh yeah,
it'll be like, okay, we know what we're getting for a capital ship.
the smart money says separatist because we are doing a separatist or a Galactic Republic legendary, air quotes, and then we're doing. Basically a GR Conquest unit that's launching at the same time. It better
be a Trade Federation capital ship, that's all I'm saying.
They have the artwork for the Luger Hulk, but I would be wildly surprised if they chose to have Newt as the capital ship. But would be okay with it. It just seems like Admiral Trench is the one that they're going to pick from.
They've been investing so much in making it so Trench has his own team and like it has a reason to exist. So I feel like they have to give it to Trench.
Yeah,
I just love that he's the admiral that doesn't have a capital ship. I'm like,
well, yeah, but Radis was that same way for what, a year as well.
Yeah,
admiral of what?
And so I think honestly, the reason why we haven't heard anything about that yet is they were waiting for Trench to hit Proving Grounds, which he just did this last one. I want to say.
No, I think it was the Fury.
So this one's Fury. Last one I think was Trench.
Fury.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So they're getting people some opportunity to farm it, but I think they're going to do a heavy marquee ship dump. We're going to get 3 or 4 new ships.
Well, it'd have to be Galactic Chasers, right?
Fleet.
Yeah. We haven't had a marquee ship drop in years.
No, but I mean, yeah, sorry. It's not a marquee event. It's just a Galactic Chase, but it is kind of in my head. Anything that's coming that you can buy stuff for immediately, it's a marquee. I don't.
In Karth's whale brain, new characters come out. I spend money to have them at 7 stars. I don't. The rest is just fluff.
Yeah, those words. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with it. But yeah, whatever faction is will be telling of what the new capital ship's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
If they do Separatist, I would absolutely love, and this might not happen, but I would love the flavor of having the General Grievous fleet become the Malevolence, become a fully crewless fleet.
Yeah.
And so, we'd get like the Tri-Fighter in and things like that to uplift the Malevolence. And then we have the new one as all of the other like crewed Separatist ships. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I would like them to do the gunship. And do the and have the gunship be like the Scythe, or if it's in the starting lineup, it'll spawn 2 other Vulture droids with you. So you basically start 5v3, and then give us the
you might actually get some assists then. Who knows?
Oh my god! Right.
Mm-hmm. But my only issue with pilotless ships is just the scaling is getting a little bit wonky now.
Well,
with all the
so
levels.
if they do that, then they can add on to Grievous's unique. If all ships are non-piloted, they could just add on to the unique that then gives them the boost, like they did with the Profundity. Basically, if you have a pilotless Rebel tank, which is basically the Rebel Y-wing, they're like, you get all these benefits now. They can do the same thing with the Malevolence and just go.
Yeah, of course they can. They can work around it for sure.
But they would need to separate it. That's the only thing. So Geos would then go to Trench, and then you'd have to add a couple more ships to that, and then you'd have a relative
could get
power curve.
Solar Sailor.
Yep.
Yeah. Sure. Mm-hmm. You get Asajj's one as well.
I mean, let's be honest. What we're really hoping for is that whatever Darkside capital ship they do bring out, it actually is worth something inside of TB, just so that we don't have to deal with the frankly ridiculous Darkside fleet battles, because they're just freaking dumb. 1 sec.
Yeah, that is the one thing people are talking about. They're like, oh, it should be light side because it's pattern says light side, and I'm like, yeah, but it's CG.
It's CG, yeah, it's CG. Come on, we've been down this.
We threw out a lot of patterns this year by putting out Bo-Katan like 2 weeks after her last marquee dropped. So.
Well, that was wild because I remember, Garth, when that happened, because we had originally predicted the 2nd week of January as her initial release, right?
Yeah.
Then we got the first one, and then we're just like, huh. And then they announced the second one. We're like, oh, come on.
The second one came out exactly when we thought it would launch, too.
Like that was just Bo-Katan Mandalore again there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was so pissed.
Like, well, yeah, because you threw in the towel because you thought it was going to be 3 months till she returned. So you're like, I'm not going to shipment farm him anymore. And then it comes back.
Yep.
But you haven't bought anything, so then it's like you
so I couldn't get it again.
Amount of money to get it then. And so you ended up getting on the 3rd one, right? The one in February.
3rd month for me, yeah. But it should have been the 2nd month. But I, using all kinds of logic that makes complete sense, following CG's normal fucking cadence, thought, yeah, she'll be gone for 3 months, and then she proceeded to come back every 3 weeks.
Yeah, basically. it was a good time. We had a lot of fun with that.
Although, I mean, to be fair, it did give us a lot of opportunities for jokes. You know?
Yeah.
Poor Jedi Knight Cal, the red-headed stepchild of legendary events, just never coming back.
I'm a red-headed stepchild. Let's just keep it clean here. But it was one of those things because we were like, when the Boba Fett thing happened, we were just like, oh, we don't understand this, right? Because me and Karth have been doing this long enough, right? And you have too, Scribe. Like, you kind of read the tea leaves, you see the patterns, you see all this stuff happen. So when they released it, I was like, okay, 3 months, it's 3 months. Here we go. But they'll give me time to, finish up because I just missed her. Right. And I'm like, okay, I was right there. I had like one character, it was a few shards away and then just popping the relic. And then they announced it was coming back. And I just was telling Scarlett, I'm like, what the, what is happening? What's happening? I don't understand.
And this is why I have trust issues.
Yeah. Yes. It's been really weird because with the Cal event being so spaced out, right? I was saying this on the Jedi Academy yesterday. It just feels like it should have been flipped, right? The Cal event should have been monthly because it's a vital piece for
unlocking Zepho,
things in Zepho, right? That's a big deal. And Bo, although she's amazing, and I love using Bo, she is incredible. She was coming back every month, and it's like, wait a minute, shouldn't the script on that? Shouldn't Cal be the one? But I think it's something that they already had Cal scheduled. Use a normal cadence for the legendary, and then they wanted to try something new with Bo with this new cadence. I kind of think people like the new cadence, right? If it's going to be like this,
I like it
because it. Let's be honest. This is a thing that I've said for a long time when people started bitching about the GLs being released before everything's farmable. It will never impact somebody who was never going to spend on when they would get the character.
Right.
It has a net zero impact on you because you will never. It'll never change when you unlock it because you will not spend on that character. So you'll wait till it's farmable, and then you'll get it when it's there for a GL. I mean, legendary events are a little bit different, but with the monthly unlock, it still kind of puts the same idea. About the 10th of every month, Bo's coming back, so you can plan your farm out to be done by the 10th of a month, and then unlock Bo and be done with it. But if you weren't going to spend, you weren't going to unlock Bo until May or later. 6 months. If you look at the old farming guides, if you're doing things relatively free to play, you would miss the first one. Usually the second one you wouldn't be ready for in time, and so you'd get the third one. So you'd be about 6 months down the road.
If you were pretty aggressive, you could usually get it in 3 months, but it requires quite heavy refreshing on hard nodes. So you need to have that. You need to already be in a good position, like high in Fleet Arena, high in Squad Arena back then, where crystals were in Squad Arena, to be able to get it in a really quick turnaround. But yeah, for most people, you probably are looking at like a 6 month farm because you just can't afford to keep up. Refreshing.
I just think that's where it was coming down to is that like the people who are going to get it when the event first comes out are the people who spend,
right?
Just full stop. And so if you're not one of those people, you're not going to change when you unlock a character. And so for me, I don't mind them doing it. I don't mind the character dropping really fast because it rewards the players who spend. So there's an incentive to do it. But then the distance of the advantage is now drastically shortened. This is why I like with the GLs, I didn't care because the GL is always available. You can get it when you can get it.
Yeah.
Whether you spend or not, it's always available. With the legendaries being every month, that means the lag time between your opponents and GAC who do spend having a competitive advantage over you is now less and less to when you can catch up to them. So it's I'm fine with it. You're not going to change for a lot of players when they have access to it. It's just a lot of players are going to be upset because their opponents aren't being held down like they are because they aren't going to spend any money.
I was going to say
spend some money.
That's the only way that a free-to-play player gets affected by this sort of release. It isn't how quickly they unlock it; it's how quickly their peers unlock it. That's the only negative. But it's not like everybody is, spending hundreds of dollars unlocking new marquees and legendaries.
Those free-to-play players will then have the advantage of legendaries taking 4 to 6 months to return because nobody's then going to have it for them to deal with it. But I mean, like, since Bo's release, like, to be honest, Bo is like a fantastic character. Don't get me wrong. Love her. Love her kit. Love what they do. She is completely skippable. Same with Afra. Like, you don't need to get her because where the meta sits right now in GAC, there's just nothing defensively is going to do much of anything. If you put like one GL on defense and bring everything good to offense, and your opponent makes one mistake trying to clear your south wall, you win. As long as you don't drop anything.
Yeah. You just have to be perfect. That's all.
Unless you're like certain people that throw rocks and don't win. It's weird.
The rocks have betrayed me. All right.
The only reason that I'm going for Mommy Mandalore is because the Christmas pack came around, and that Christmas pack I got I got Killer and Beck out of that Christmas pack, whereas any of the new characters. I was like, okay, and so then on stream I took him up to Relic 7. I was like, I already have a Relic 6 Bam. I might as well start heading towards her. And so she's on my farming plan, but the Gungans just threw a wrench in that. And so now I'm doing Gungans, but I have my IG-12 and Paz just sitting here, and I don't feel bad about not leveling them up because it comes around every month. It doesn't
exactly.
matter.
Yeah.
Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad because as good as Bo is, oh my God, she's amazing. And that team is amazing. Even without the datacron that exists right now, she was amazing beforehand. But it's one of those things like, should I farm Dr. Afra or Star Killer? What do you mean? Go get Star Killer. I mean, he is much more potent than...
And his farm improves like every major team
my
in the
God,
game. Versus Afra, who's like, you get 2 characters that work with Afra and then a couple that are just like...
And then you get Hondo.
Well,
but can we take a moment and just appreciate how freaking awesome Keller and Beck is, though? Because he's just oh my God, he's the tits. He's the cat's pajamas.
He's really good, but there's hard counters to him out of there. There's hard counters to him. I mean, we went in there in my stream yesterday, and it was like, I had a couple counters there, and I was like, I'm going to Inquisitor this, and they just ate his crap alive. I was surprised to see that a lot of people on that team were putting gas on there. I was like, okay, well, I better go for gas first, because if he gets loose, I'm going to die. That's really not
gas
good.
has a really good multiplier on his AoE. And the level 6 that gives them 100% offense when they're at full health, and then all the defense pen he gets from Keller and Beck.
Yeah, it's nasty business.
It gets out of control. Well, I went with JML, Hoda, Shock T versus a Keller and Beck with gas, and gas resisted the ability block.
So I don't start with Efflux. I just start coining. I'm like, kill gas. I don't care about anything else. Kill gas.
I was just trying to get rid of his cooldown. Anyways, gas took his first turn. His AoE one-shot Shock T from full health protection, and that's with a additional 105% protection.
Yeah, I remember your cron.
Yeah. So it's like just watching Shock T melt instantly. I'm like, all right, well, we just gonna coin with everything until he's out of here.
I do not mess around with that. I just immediately just go, okay, I'm just coining until gas goes, and then I can feel like I breathe.
I thought it was Anakin at first. On that Anakin, I'm like, wait a minute, that's gas. Oh hell no! Inquisitor's attack.
Gas cam is one of the most potent counters right now because there's so much damage from the uniques and the datacron before you even factor in Keller. And so like gas is like, I almost have 100k offense. Who's ready to throw hands?
Plus you have the whole, you can throw 5-0 first with the Corrects Omi. And so you have a place for it 3v3. So you don't need to throw gas with his 5-0 first. You can just shunt him to that.
If you want to put Rex on defense,
I still think that gas is going to be a staple with Keller in 5v5. I can't imagine people...
I'm kind of leaning that way because it's like, do I... Yeah.
Well, I don't even put gas on defense anymore.
Man.
I would almost rather do with my 5-0 first clones, I would rather throw them under JMK. Now, granted, that's not the brilliant plan, but
no, you're crazy.
If you get offense, then it's fine.
But if anything, you do like, I don't know, Shakti maybe.
Like that. Or you can run the 501st with Captain Rex, or you can just keep the clones together with like a Shakti or Padme, like you said, and go Rex with the Phoenix team, which is in 5s is unbelievably good. That team is so good.
I just can't wait for datacrons to goddamn go.
In one more season.
Man, Doubt just shuts down Phoenix. It's horrible, man.
It shuts down so many teams.
I'm over datacrons. I'm over datacrons now. It's been fun, but it's time for you to go. You've overstayed your welcome. Thank you very much.
It's fun when I can use it on offense to negate annoying things. But
that's
like
the
on
rule,
defense,
right?
It's just like, why didn't I gain my turn meter? Oh, right, I've got Doubt.
Yeah, no. Why didn't I get that buff? Oh, I got that.
I've got that. Why didn't I recover protection? Oh, I got that.
It's like, I should be taunting. Wait.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. How many times you lose the Malgus counter versus like
because of freaking Doubt.
Because Doubt, and you can't get your taunt back up and they wreck your face? Yeah, that's so annoying.
Yeah,
I'm sure you guys don't probably run into this in like your upper echelons, but
that's right.
SLKR mirror match. SLKR mirror match with datacrons on both sides is the biggest crapshoot I have ever seen.
Nobody's getting advantage for one.
Oh my god!
Yeah, nobody's getting advantage. No one's taunting, and it's just like, oh yeah, I'll kill off SLKR before any of the rest of his team, like half the time, and like, or vice versa. They'll just kill off my SLKR just super quick. I'm just like, oh, I guess that's it.
See what you did there was you took it in a mirror match.
Hey, I have all the toys.
Yeah,
that's fair. No, that's fair.
Yeah, mirror match is fine because you can dictate with the ultimates and stuff what she does, but SLKR. Oh god!
I see. I was fortunate enough to not have SLKR for the longest time, so I've never done an SLKR.
Yes, we remember. we were there. We were there, Scribe.
Hey, you know what the karmic justice of that was?
That's right. You got your comeuppance, and I'm not talking about the ship.
I got ditched by Lightspeed bundles.
The Lightspeed bundle dropped.
That's right. Painful, dude.
Like three and a half years of without like Slacker, and then all of a sudden he dumps everything into it. And
I mean,
2
weeks later, how many characters is in that farm? It's like 13 characters.
Yep.
So that's 1,300 Kairotex alone that I pissed up the wall.
Kairotex are not as bad on that one as like
all the signal data.
The only two characters you had done going into it though was Palpatine and Crew, right?
Yeah. I had I did Crew when I did Lord Vader. Because that was in the days before we had. Maul. Was it before Maul was even a thing? I invested in Crew because I was like, I want an unaligned Force user.
Lord Vader dropped like the month before Maul's Conquest finished.
Yeah.
Oh, but I was gonna say I remember like looking at the reveal and it had Maul as like a built-in synergy on like when they used to have the synergy area on the kit reveals, and so I
did that kit reveal. I forgot about that. Shit,
that's a long time ago. With his exclusive kit reveal.
I forgot about that. I was like, hey, why does that sound familiar?
Crew was really solid at the time on that team, and still is to a degree, because the unaligned Force users, when they take damage, they add more ult charge than the Empire characters when they take damage. So like having your
he's also just a really good tank in general, to be honest.
Because he's immune. He gets, if you debuff him, he recovers more health than you do damage to him.
Yeah. And reduce damage from percentile health effects, which is always useful.
Yeah, always useful.
Yeah.
So he was really solid at the time. There was a great moment with Lord Vader and 4 tanks, and then we got over that meta.
We got over that. Lord Vader has probably had like the most diverse. Maybe Rey's had more diversity, more diverse number of teams that have made up his compositions over his time on the holotables. Because we've had Reaver and Maul and standard.
We've
had
so many Empire Ufu drop that it's just like, what are we doing?
Everything's Lord Vader lifter.
Yeah,
and I hate that Lord Vader is this way, but it feels like everyone's just throwing whatever new legendaries and whatever new characters we get, hoping to find a meta with him, because he's just not great.
For threes, I pulled him off defense. I was forcing my opponents, but to use something big on that, and they were. But it's like, so I put GMP on defense because Lord Vader can take on Jabba. He can take on some other stuff on offense. I'm like, yeah, he's got to.
There isn't a single Lord Vader lineup now that Bo can't beat without her even without her datacron.
Even without her datacron,
you'll just walk all over it. So
she's damn sexy, to be fair.
Yeah. Well, her datacron gives. You could probably at the end when the cron goes away, you could probably find things that are going to be more annoying for Bo to deal with. But then you go back to having like proper turn meter setups because that's completely ruined right now with her datacron.
Yeah.
And once you go back to that being important, then Bam goes back to being on Bo's team. Bam can't be a free agent anymore. And then you just go into your Whistling Bird setup, and then you just eviscerate 2 or 3 people out of the team with the Whistling Birds, and then she cleans up from there.
I mean, it also stacks a bunch of her true defense nonsense. I can't remember what it's called.
Ancestral Resolve.
Ancestral
Resolve.
Plot armor.
Yeah.
Ancestral.
Yeah, plot armor.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
It's called, right?
It's gonna be a real good time. I'm still in this hazy mindset of Datacrons will not be with us forever.
No.
One more season of 5s.
One more season of 5s, baby, and we'll just have a season of 3s with a brand new Datacron set, and who knows?
We'll lose our mind again.
It's going to be Jar Jar.
All Dodgecrons.
Well,
my God.
All Dodgecrons and Jar Jar. Jar Jar
Jar
Solo.
Bring that evil into this stream.
Full stop. If that was anything in the game that would make me take a break from it for a period of time, it would be the recurrence of Dodgecrons.
Yep.
Like I would show up and play Conquest, and that would be it for those next 4 months.
Yeah,
because I'm not doing it, man. Like it was hell the first time.
Oh my God, it was brutal.
Even
if they cut it in half, it's still like, oh my God, that would still be awful.
Once you break like 15 to 25%, like it happens in this game more frequently than it ever should.
Yeah, like back then I was fairly low in Grand Arena, so I didn't see datacrons at all, so I was fine. But it hurt my soul because every single content creator I watched was just so pissed all the time. I was like,
brother,
I just want to enjoy some content and I can't.
It was obnoxious.
Oh my God. I was facing opponents in the top 50 that had an average of at least 10 crons above 50% dodge. And I had a couple opponents that had like over 100%.
Well, the thing that made that, but the thing on top of that made that even more brutal, right? Is that hell still with it, where you're just like, if you didn't do damage and they die, just like, Lord Vader.
And you can't forget about Lord Vader's instant cooldown, the crush forever.
Crush forever, Tarkin pointing his finger, going raving,
Yeah. Oh my God, dude.
Darth Vader constantly in merciless massacre. It's just like, God.
It was the worst decision they have ever put out to mix those two mechanics together, let alone like a faction that is known for debuffs.
Yeah.
It's like, why can't we put it on a faction that's not known for putting out debuffs all the time?
Yeah.
That would be smart.
I enjoyed so much watching Arnold's free-to-play get up to a Rhodium when he belonged in Bronzium just because of that Datacron set and he had a Relic Darth Vader. It was just hilarious.
I mean, you'd think they would have learned from deployable cooling system in Conquest how giving us the ability to get rid of cooldowns is not a smart idea. Because it just breaks the game. It's like GMY constantly.
I don't mind that I don't mind it in Conquest because Conquest, that was. I gotta remember when we first got that. Man, we spent so many hours just playing with all the different teams using fun. That and just having so much fun. So I don't mind it in Conquest, but when you're talking a competitive format like GAC, right, where every little small thing that can break something, oh boy.
They systematically removed the fun out of Conquest. I mean, to be honest, I still quite enjoy it, but the feats just got absurd.
To me, it's the thing I do. The feats they're just
grindy, boring.
Some of the boss for me, some of the boss fights are a challenge and figuring things out, and that's fine and all. But like when you're just sitting there repetitively doing 40 Ewok battles over a certain amount of time and things of that nature, you just sit there and want to just throw your head against the wall.
The Queen Amidala one is not so bad compared to
this one hasn't been as bad. Yeah, it's been toned down, but they're still doing these really, like, I'll tell you the one that beat 600 D1 kills. Oh my God, that's an hour and a half of my life I can never get back. Just sitting here, putting it on
just
auto.
Improve the stability of the mission.
Oh my
it would be
God!
tolerable.
Oh God!
Dude, my game crashed during one of my runs for it.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh my God!
It's so unstable, and it does not bode well for the new raid. Like if the mechanics of the new raid is based off that, I'm just like, oh God.
Yeah. My guess in the new raid is that we're not going to be getting to nearly as many stacks. I think probably. A lot of teams are going to die before then.
Yeah. I'm still living in denial, Karth. You know I am. Nope, that's not the new raid.
Until the day the post goes live, Scribe will just go, this is not the raid, it's a 3-phase raid. We fight in the plains in Naboo, then we fight in Thebe, then we fight Darth Maul, and then we fight in space.
Yeah.
This is pod racing.
Even after the first release, I'll be like, no, this is not the whole raid. There's still more coming.
I'm actually pretty sure what CG has planned is that we're doing Speeder Bike Raid 2.0, but it's just the pod race,
Against Sebulba. Yeah.
I would lose my mind on that too. I don't I don't get motion sick watching the raid, but honestly, it is one of the most infuriating things to listen, just have to stare at for the time. Just
what's on right now?
Oh joy. Yeah, the raid is up for us at the minute, and I'm like, I don't want to do this right now. I'll get my points in later. It'll be fine.
It's gonna be all right.
Who cares?
I mean, there is that.
As long as you get them in, that's all that matters.
Yeah, well, yeah. Before the end, preferably. Before the end of days.
Before the dark times. Before the Empire.
Weird question for you guys.
Yeah,
sure.
What do you guys think of this year kind of bringing back JMK as a major person to go for early on? Because that's kind of disappeared as a thing. I know AP Gaines pushed for it, but Galactic Republic is just not a huge faction right now, and so it's kind of pushing into a totally different part of the game for most people. And so I feel like this raid is going to force people to go for things like gas and that kind of thing, and might end up picking up more JMKs, more Lord Vaders across the game.
My biggest concern is Cat, right?
Go ahead.
That's
what I was going to say. If you don't have Cat
without Cat, it's not a GL.
You don't have Cat.
Right?
Yeah.
That's my biggest concern with it. I can see it. I can see more people wanting to go the Galactic Republic route. And he's a fantastic GL, but it's just so slow and inefficient to get Cat from Proving Grounds and using Ultimate Journey tokens, especially early game where you don't have 7 or 8 GLs to earn those tokens. It feels painful. Maybe if they're willing to drop a little bit on Conquest Pass Plus.
Is that we need to know who are the remaining Jedi and GR characters they're going to tie into this, because if there is no overlap towards the journey, the different legendaries or the GL, then why bother going for JMK? Because for the same exact reason, if you don't have Cat or you're nowhere near Cat, JMK is one of the most worthless GLs to pick up. Luckily, Lord Vader is not in that same boat. If you got a decent depth of Empire and Ufus to work with, to throw under him, he can still do things. But JMK can hardly beat Gas without Cat.
And Gas can beat him. More importantly,
especially if he has his ultimate. Gas is just a easy win on offense against him.
It's
the reason
funny.
And even with that, I just don't, JMK is not one that you should go for right away, or Lord Vader. There's components to that with Maul and Cat that you need to get for characters. Second, the relic on an early on account is that relic requirement for both.
Lord Vader's is disgusting, man.
Lord Vader's is disgusting, but don't JMK is number 2, so don't forget about that. That's a lot of relic 8s that you're going to be going for and stuff. So it's for a newer account, unless you're spending, that is a lot of pressure for if you think about Lord Vader, it's not just the Relic 8s that are on that account, but you have all the new characters that are involved with that, unlike other GLs that require so many of these Kyrteks, like the 4 Bad Batch. That's 2,000.
The only thing I would say
brutal.
about
and yeah, go ahead.
All I was going to say is like the one change in the meta that makes Lord Vader more appealing as an earlier farm is the Marauder, just because of Bad Batch. Like that actually has a material impact on your ability to win GAC, because Marauder Negotiator it beats everything. I mean, can beat everything.
Well, with the right relic level investment, it can beat a lot of things. You are correct,
and the right amount of luck.
But if you think about it, with the Lightspeed, with the Lightspeed bundles, going for Rey and SLKR makes sense. I always tell people C is always a good one now, especially with Bane. If you can, have to go back and get him. But I mean, we're not even using Bane with C. So, but it leads you to Executor some other things, and they're easy farms. Same thing with Lord Vader and Rey. Once you get those going and you do like a team like Gas, like you could do some GR with Gas, or you can go for the CLS team, or you can go for, Star Killers, an early complement to your stuff as you do the in between farms. The next 2 GLs that I'm like telling people to go for is go Jabba Leia. Easier farm, easier access. You got to get Jedi Knight Luke, but it unlocks a lot of stuff, including JML, that you can go for a lot of these characters. You go into CLS, you go into Jedi Knight Luke, and then bam, you got these easier GLs to go for than the pain and suffering of Proving Grounds and all that crap with the characters and the relics that are associated with GMK and Lord Vader. It's like night and day. So yeah, if I was to tell you, it's like, don't worry about, if you're a lower player, don't worry about the new stuff. Just have a smart plan that's going to help you long term than it is, because this will cycle in 9 months, and we were like, GR, what about them? Separatists, what about them? It's kind of like Jawas right now. All those people that made that investment in Jawas, I'm like, I sure
not
didn't.
One of them. I took them to Gear 11, and that was for the raid, and I'm glad I didn't take them further.
Yeah, mine are all
by happenstance. By happenstance, I took them to Relic 5.
Sure.
So it was unrelated to the raid.
Yeah, it's interesting because we don't know anything about the new raid when it comes to like teams. I'm hoping they do Crate Dragon. I hope they do the same kind of thing where they're like this faction, this faction, this faction, to make it real easy on getting characters for things.
I don't want to pew your hopes and dreams there, but they retroactively went back to Crate Dragon and cut that out.
It was that faction as at the time of release, right?
Yeah, they were at what was available at the time of release of the raid. They basically told it you can't use bow mana, which I mean, I don't know why they bothered, because who's really going to run Crate anymore? But for them, it is far more lucrative to be specific characters. And so I 100% see them doing that again, because the Jedi faction, too big to just say everybody.
2 GLs? 2 GLs for one?
Yeah.
let's
GR faction is in the same boat. At least a GR faction being, if they did all GR Jedi and then the rest of GR, then I could see that one being relatively okay. But then Separatist kind of gets all over the road too. You've got Geos, you got your GG team, you got your Trench team. It just gives you too many options to play with, and they want to force you to relic specific things. That's kind of been the theme with the raid as of late, is like, well, bring up characters that you're not going to use as frequently, and then go from there. It's like the OR tag in the raid was kind of a kick in the crotch for a lot of people, and same with Jawas, and same with some of the Mando tags and Hut Cartel, depending on what you wanted to do. There was just things that were, hey, just relocate everything. Come on, get it up there. Let's go. So I can't see them changing that.
Ooh, I am hoping that they at least give us something, though, because like the Endor raid was super, super nice, because a lot of people have a CLS team going. A lot of people have Rebels, Imperial Troopers. They're like the kind of starting factions for most accounts, regardless of like farming paths. And so I'm hoping that like they at least give us Geonosians, or at least give us something that early players can use in this.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for that list. I'm waiting for that list for sure.
You see Meathead pop in the chat, says, if you're a lower level or new player, have fun and set your expectation appropriately. Finishes back to cleaning. Oh my god. I knew he was lurking, but I didn't say anything. And then he comes in and Meathead just jumping in there randomly.
We do love Meathead around these parts.
I do agree, Rabbit, is that I hope when they pick like the Separatists, they do things that are kind of lower hanging fruit for players. Because like Grievous is not an easy unlock for new accounts. And a lot of the Separatists are a challenge to get your hands on. Because they're just kind of tucked away in different parts of the game. So it's like Geos gets you to Padme. Padme is probably going to be required for the other ones. So they kind of pick and choose smartly on what they want to do to help like players get involved sooner. Then I can see that doing it. Because people don't take Geos really beyond year 12 unless you're in a bigger guild that's like, well, we use Malevolence to counter Leviathan, so get them to R8. Like that's the only
just casually do that. Casually.
It's becoming more and more of a thing recently, especially with newer players, to see Relic Geos, just because how much they enjoy being able to see them get holds in territory wars with the Omicron. So I've been seeing that a lot in like lower areas, just because they like having some viability in territory war.
Yeah.
So,
well, honestly though, that Pomegron is obnoxious, man. Like,
it is.
Oh my god!
If you have good relics and good mods on the Geo, which that's a combination a lot of people aren't willing to do, even some of the counters that do work versus those Geo lineups are much harder when the relic level investment is higher, because they just like spy one tapping Nihilist that's already annihilated somebody once. It's just like, how did you just do 1 million damage? Like, what is happening? So there's a lot of things like that where it just gets to the point where if you go all the way, yeah, they can be good investments early on, but it's hard to do that later, because it's just like going back and being like, oh, well, I could do the Kelleran Kron on me, sorry, or I could do Pago. Like, I'm doing Kelleran.
Hey, well, that's the well, I mean, I don't like to throw on any Omnis for characters I don't have at relic levels. It's just kind of a thing in my brain. I'm like, I can't put a datacron on it. Why would I Omicron it? So it was a no-brainer for me. I was like, yeah, Kelleran Beck definitely gets that Omicron, and it's a ton of fun. I'm really hoping, actually, come May 4th, we get at least the usable units in the raid. I hope they have that as part of the announcement. It's like, okay, here are the units we get to use in the raid. At least something about the raid. Please. Meathead's in the chat, so Meathead, I know you say you're lurking and cleaning this stuff, but we want that list. Pretty pleased with the cherry on top.
DM me. DM me.
Just send it directly to me, and I promise I won't tell anybody.
He lies.
Damn it, Ranger.
Send it to me, and I won't tell anyone, but I will suggest farming paths for people.
I'll say, I don't know what's going to happen, but maybe you should favorite the following 25 characters. And get them to Relic 8. Yeah, that'll be good.
By the way, Meathead, if you're looking for some people for that new beta for PC, you got some right here. Send us some links.
Yeah, I've heard there are interested parties. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Love it. Oh, Truthful, thank you for the 100 biddies.
Wep, off topic but slightly related. Did any of you happen to catch Gerbil's recent video? He had a cool proposal for a new version of multi-guild territory war.
Nope.
Multi-guild?
No. Multi-guild.
Oh.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, no.
No,
I'll be honest, last time I looked at anything from Gerbil was when I did the collab with him. I feel kind of bad. But I'll have to take a look.
I think I watched something with him recently, but it's not. There's so many videos out. There's so many content creators and so many videos. It's damn hard to keep on top of everything.
Especially
but I'll
when
give it a watch.
Creating content yourself, it's rough.
Oh god, yeah, preaching to the choir. We all video and stream far too frequently. Karth, on the other hand, just likes to sit and join in.
Spend his millions.
He's still not made his own Twitch/YouTube channel, and we keep pestering him.
How dare you?
I'm working on the Twitch part of it. YouTube, I don't think I'm ever going to do YouTube. I don't want to create videos.
Well, you can just stream to it. You can stream to both.
That's the only reason I would do it, is just to stream to both, because it's surprising how much traction you get on YouTube.
Yeah,
because I just feel like there's a smaller audience streaming on YouTube.
I get like really twice the viewership. It's really weird. Like, I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
I like it, but it's strange.
YouTube has like a harder build up when you're first making videos, but then
for sure
people stick around a lot more.
Well, if they do, but I mean, it's the way they've got that set up, man. It's just I do it because Twitch is the primary source, but YouTube, man, there's just too many hindrances on that damn thing. So it's like I just do the videos like you said. This is like whatever I get, but they find ways to nickel and dime your ass on that thing. It's like, oh my god. So unless you're dual streaming for me, it's like, or doing videos. If you're doing videos, but you have to be very careful now because there's so many goddamn copyright just things that people scams going on out there that they will find ways to get you. So it's like
I've been wanting to try dual streaming with Twitch, and I did it a couple times with other games, but like the problem is so often while I'm doing like roster reviews, I'm like, oh, you're struggling with mods, I can tell you don't really understand mods, go check out this video on YouTube, which technically violates terms of service on streaming on Twitch.
Yeah.
And so
I wouldn't worry too much about it, honestly. You're not supposed to. When they changed the affiliate and partner program to say you could multi-stream, the clause was that you don't have YouTube's chat up on the screen. You don't talk about any other streaming platforms. But honestly, nobody's going to come knocking on our doors saying, how very dare you? It's just not going to happen. Unless we were streaming to like 30 to 40,000 people, but we're not.
Yeah, if you were like Amaranth or somebody else, like...
Are you saying I'm not like Amaranth? What has she got that I don't have?
Red hair to start with.
Well, how much
red hair?
Yeah.
All right, don't jump all in at once. Jesus Christ. All right,
well, hair in general, just hair. Yes.
Yeah. I have hair. It's just not on my head. All right.
How perforated would you like your ego this afternoon?
Well, it's already shot to shit. So I mean,
also the difference, I think she wants to build her own zoo for her house, and I'm over here struggling to, make ends meet with my YouTube channel.
Yeah. I just want to pay the electric bill this month, if that's okay. Yeah. I'm a little hungry. No.
She's outside cuddling by the fire, burning all the money she doesn't want to use right now.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of those things that is... Yeah, well, I'm not going to get in this rabbit hole. I don't want to talk about OnlyFans. SWGoH. That's what we're here for. We're here for Star Wars related things.
I told you this.
Thoughts on me making a SWGoH OnlyFans?
Yeah, SWGoH fans. Yeah.
Yes, that's SWGoH OnlyFans. Exactly.
Oh my.
Yeah, that's what we're here for on this tightly regimented podcast about Galaxy of Heroes. That's the only thing we talk about. Is these little pixels that appear on our screen.
That's right.
Yeah, I know. It's great. Okay, we do actually have some questions within the Discord. If y'all are interested in doing a bit of Q&A. Let's see. I guess.
Is that Tribe Talks questions? Is that what we're looking?
That would be the one. Yeah. That would be the one. We'll start off with the first, and this is from Torrendale. Name suggestion: a rebellion roundtable, a galactic trio. It doesn't work when there are 4 people. Question. What do you think is the top priority for guilds to focus on? Raids, TB, territory war, etc. All have different bonuses, and ideally you want all. Sorry, the written sentence structure is a bit odd. But let's say you're just getting Relic 9 in TW, so about 320 to 380 mil guild. That increases focus on TW and Omicrons there. Now, TB, you have Reaver and bonuses for that. Okay, so the question really is, where do you think guilds should be focusing on? Is it TW? Is it TB? Is it the raid?
Raid.
I would hate to disagree with Karth, but he's absolutely right. It's just the raid, man.
Every other game mode is trash in comparison to the rewards that you get from raiding, man. Like, it is not even comparable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you are they nice to get? Sure. I won't argue that. The 1,000 crystals you get from the TB every other week, that's fine. The rewards you get are good enough for the effort, because sometimes, depending on your guild, you don't got to put in a lot of effort to get the 37 stars, and that's great. Have a good time doing that. But dollar for dollar, the raid, if you can get the entire guild to get up to maxing the raid, it's like the income on materials is so good. It's like you can pay back what it takes to R8 those 5 or 8 teams, whatever you need to do to get up there before the raid ends, and still make a net positive on whatever you need to do.
Moreover, if you looked at just the speeder bike raid, right? If you looked at it from like a pragmatic point of, okay, imagine it was just coming out. And you're like, I know Leia's going to be amazing. Guild wants us to focus on TB or TW or whatever. And you go, well, hang on. If I just farm Leia, then I get the best scores in the raid from the get-go, like the best characters to perform in the raid from the get-go, like solo character 2.7 million, really good head start, right? But I also get a character that can basically full auto all the TB missions. And I also get a character that's really good in GAC. And I also get a character that's really good in Territory Wars. Why the fuck would you do anything else? It's like, just do that and get all of them. I know it's obviously a broader question, but that's the way I keep looking at it. Plus the rewards are the best.
The raid, honestly, I think a lot of people really didn't value like how good the characters they chose for the raid were. At the time of getting it right, there was a lot of things that were still unknown. We didn't know Dark Trooper Moff Gideon was coming. And so like all these Imperial Remnant characters being picked for the raid kind of didn't make sense. You know, we were in the early stage of the Leviathan being out. No one knew Iden would be so clutch to have high relics, you know. So much of Phoenix was just getting under, you know, oh, well, holy crap, you know, Hera's not a bad investment because, you know, Captain Rex makes his team ridiculous. So investing the relics into the team now makes the payout worth your time, you know. And then a lot of the other staple characters for the raid, they were already pilots that were already needed at high relics. So you kind of got those as a freebie. And it's just like everyone's just throwing hands. I got a relic and Ewok. Okay. So you get like 2 trash characters to get max run, like to get max personal track. Oh no! It's like there are worse fates, man.
So outrage, but I'll quite happily R9 Ethkoth.
Yeah, have R9 Ethkoth or R9 Bodhi or R9. Name a character that doesn't get used in either game mode, and they're like, "Well, I did it for the guild, though." Okay, well, you do raids for the guild too. just so everyone's clear, it's a collective score.
Yeah.
Like I can't wrap my head around it.
Yeah, overall, I think there's a very clear order, and it's definitely raids is at the top. Like you get so much from them, especially with the raid changes. Even free to play. So I have a free to play account. I'm doing. My members get to choose where it goes, and I'm about to hit level 85 today on stream.
Nice.
And I am going to have a Relic 5 Omicron Savage day 1 of level 85 because of the raids. Nice. It's amazing, and so raids absolutely top. Territory battles next, just because you got characters that you get a lot of good stuff, and then Territory Wars. I hate to say it falls way down below because you're getting characters in Grand Arena that you can use in Grand Arena, and most of them translate to Territory Wars, and your rewards aren't overly that much of a difference when it comes to winning and losing. Where I'm like, oh no, I lost. I enjoy doing it with my guild. I love my guild very much so, and they have a lot of fun working together, but it's not something where I'm like, we need to drop everything and get Territory War Omicrons.
Yeah, so. No, my guild very much focuses on getting TW armies, but let's be honest, the primary focus is let's hit the max crate in the raid as soon as possible. That's priority number 1. And honestly, anything else I'd be like, hey, forget all the other game modes and make sure you're getting top of Fleet Arena. Do that and do the raid, and the rest of your game is sorted. It'll all work out from there.
You need TW a little bit because it's the only place to get the droid brains in the game unless you're spending your crystals on it. Mm-hmm. And so there's a little bit of need for TW. But as it sits right now in the game, there's a grand total of 3 required R9s for the entire game, which is Adred, Darth Revan, and Malak.
Yeah.
Because Piet's only required an R8.
R8, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And JML is not really a requirement. He's just kind of strongly advised.
But it'd be silly not to have him at R9. But but that's the thing is if you're willing to just divert some crystals to it, you can get that without needing to do much of TW. And honestly, once you can break a 380, You should be winning, losing half the time.
Yeah.
Anyways, once you break 380, unless you're just like our guild where we barely broke 380 and we went and fought a toddler and beat the crap out of them this last
that sounds like MC3. That sounds like MC3.
Yeah. Well, we only had 36 people sign up, so
36. God almighty.
Yeah.
I forgot. I think it was always sort of 35 to 40, right?
Yeah, somewhere in there is what we usually do. But yeah, it is. It's just like you don't need to put a ton of focus on it. There are plenty of guilds that fight right in that range that have a 50% win rate. So that means you should be getting roughly 12 a month. So basically every 2 months you should get enough for an R9 if you're participating in those guilds at that level. And basically in 6 months you'll have all the R9 match you need in the game because you don't need anything beyond that. You could want other things beyond that. That's their can of worms, but need is relative. So
I mean, yeah, and you get Zeta mats and stuff like that, but it's I don't know.
You get
3 for a win, right? At the top end.
3 for a win, 2 for a loss.
Yeah,
so it's once you break the 380 bracket, it's like win loss kind of doesn't. It's really the main reason people care about winning in TW at this junction is the reroll mats because they are expensive to purchase. And they are rare to get your hands on, so it's like getting that 60, for the 8 TWs that you can is fairly important for a lot of people to remain competitive because you can't count on all 49 other members of the guild to spend 10,000 crystals on reroll map packs when they're available in Conquest. So
that's just how Garth does it.
I try to keep it under 5, but it depends on how desperate I am for certain things.
So I think we're all pretty much agreed then that, generally speaking, you should focus on the raid. TW is a pretty low priority, and you'll most likely hit it as a consequence of hitting other things. And TB, I can't in good conscience recommend anybody start Relic 9ing anything for TB. Like, just hit your Relic 8s if you really have to, but it should be a consequence of your rosters growing as a guild. Rather 30, than the focus.
36 stars relatively is basically as high as you need to push in TB. After that, it's all just bragging rights.
The only caveat I guess I would put is extracurriculars in TB, such as unlocking Zepho, getting Reaver, and maybe even a little bit of focus on the SMs. That's a little bit different to pushing stars in TB. Like, Inquisitors is super important, and so is unlocking Zepho.
Yeah.
Which is probably why I put it above TW in general, to be honest. But, yeah.
I do miss the days of the old territory battles where battles actually meant something instead of just platoons.
Well, they do. It's just they don't matter until later. Like when you're pushing really high stars, that's when they start to really matter because it's just so hard.
Once you break wave, I think phase 4. I think phase 4 is where it starts to matter a lot because you're starting to get the average player can almost accumulate the equivalent number of points for completing an ops as you do for getting an op completed. So you can get 12 million points per player if you're able to do all the missions, which is about what those are going to run you. And then in phase 6, the fleet missions give 2.5 million for winning. Like it's or just shy of 2, somewhere up there.
Fleet?
I don't remember the default amount. Yeah, for fleet.
Yeah, the fleet missions are always with.
Yeah,
it's great.
As far as I've heard, most of them aren't crazy out of this world hard. They're just the biggest issue is having synergy at
Hoth is kind of nutty,
Relic 19. That's why a lot of guilds push center for pushing out more stars, is because you have the most available team comps. Available to do the missions
zones, right?
Versus pushing. Yeah,
and you can use Hondo.
And you still have a guaranteed mission with good old Java.
yeah. Well, I mean, and
he can pretty much auto any mission. So
he can. It's great.
Puck Cartel still go. I mean, don't do that.
All right. So moving on then to the next question. With the announcement of, Tales of the Empire, what more tales do you want to see? Tales of the Sith, Bounty Hunters, Mandalorians, or others? I don't actually know. I'm sure you guys will have loads of ideas for this. Tales of the what would you like to see?
Everyone speaking once.
One that I would love to see would be an interesting one, and I don't think I'll ever get this, but I am like literally one of the hugest fans of Thrawn, and so I would love a Tales of the Unknown Regions and get some like prequel to where Thrawn's from kind of stuff. I think that would be really cool.
Tales of the Ascendancy.
There you
go. Tales of the Chaos.
If they do that, though, I would want it to be like a whole series. Give me like 20 episodes of like Thrawn. Don't give it to me. Don't give it to me in 3. And well, we start with Thrawn being on his home world, and then he gets involved with the Empire, and then this is him right before Ahsoka finds him. I'm like, no, thank you. I would like to have like a whole series of that for a while. That'd be cool. Thanks. But yeah, no, that would be an interesting one to have. I would like them to kind of focus more on like time frames than specific factions. Yeah. So it's like, let's go look at let's tell stories from the Old Republic. Let's tell stories from like the days of the Sith, the formations of that. Like let's bounce around in time.
Hyperspace War. Come on.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of historical events that would be far more interesting to focus on than entire like faction things. And I think even with the Tales of the Empire, it's telling stories during that time, but it's not really, because like Morgan Elspeth really is not Empire. She swears allegiance to Thrawn, but she's to no one else.
Well, I'm more interested in the Barriss story arc, to be honest, because we wondered what happened after the Clone Wars with her. She went to prison, and now we're gonna,
she dies.
Spoilers, Scott.
Yeah. But I mean, like, that's one of the reasons why the Acolyte for me is really fascinating, because it's a different timeline in the Star Wars story arc, right? And I would love for them to go back and do, the great, Bane's timeline, and they had the great, war there, or the Hyperspace War when the Sith didn't even use lightsabers; they used swords, and they had their first clash with the Jedi after the Great Schism and thousands of years of not knowing they existed. Or you can get into all the different stuff in the Old Republic with Exar Kun and Eula Droma, or you can get into Revan and Malak. That's always been a thing that they could do with Vitiate. I mean, that stuff to see that on screen would be epic. But the amount of characters and plots and stories and stuff with that, oh my god, that'd be incredible. And it's something totally different than the universe we're in right now.
Star Wars doesn't have like a really big sort of established expanded universe, does it? It's not like they could do very much. It's just Jedi and Sith, isn't it?
I've never read the hundreds of books behind me.
No, they're all for show, Ranger.
Yes, I just pretend I'm smart.
They're like the
green screen
encyclopedia, right? Where it's just the hollowed out books, and then it's just the spines.
It's where I keep my weed, allegedly.
There you go.
I was going to say, is it just
where
more
he
cans
keeps
of
all
Fosters?
the extra Fosters? Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly, with the Dawn of the Jedi movie coming out, like that was one of my favorite books leading up to the decanonization of all the old books, was the Dawn of the Jedi book. I really enjoyed seeing that, like look at the Jedi getting their start and before they had lightsabers and that kind of thing. And so I definitely would love to see other times, definitely.
Well, the other thing
there's so much.
They announced that they were going to go back to the origins as one of the things that they were looking to make a movie about. The origins or a series on the actual Jedi, where they came from and stuff, where you get into the Jedi and back into those times where they had balance in the Force with, Ashen Boken, and all that stuff. And I think that would be really cool. Maybe even show the Great Schism that led to, all that stuff. So, yeah. I think that would be pretty cool. Maybe PK.
So Mr. Potato Pig in chat said Tales of the Bounty Hunters. Great book.
Yeah, you could do some cool stories with that.
Yeah, being able to see, especially like the episode 5 bounty hunters, and give kind of the younger audience a look at the episode 5 bounty hunters that no one really knows anything about, like Zuckuss. And
I wouldn't be as interested if they did in a different timeline to show different, times of bounty hunters. I would be interested in, but I don't know. No more in this timeline. The only reason Ahsoka did so well for me is because it expanded the universe. I don't want to be contained anymore. I'm really over it.
Fair.
It's like, at least with Ahsoka, it really expanded the universe and things where it's like, thank God, because now you have the introduction of the Celestials, you have this other galaxy, you have all this stuff that they can start working with, the Night Sisters and all this other stuff. It's like, yeah, that stuff works, but it's like when you look at Book of Boba Fett, it's like we're on Tatooine again.
Wait to
God damn it, we're on Tatooine again
as well. It's like, come on, man. Like, just trash on Boba Fett. Why not? Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing I don't like about the live action stuff is that they are so limited to like the sets they can create
that they keep reusing stuff because it saves them money. So they tell stories in the same place over and over again. It's like,
all right, at a certain point, you can't be hiding on Tatooine because it's the first place everyone's gonna look for you.
I'm playing. This is super nerdy, but I'm playing Star Wars 5e. It's D&D 5e, but translated to Star Wars.
Oh yeah, I've actually run campaigns on that. Yeah, it's fun, dude.
Yeah, I've been really enjoying DMing for it, but like half the time when we first started was like dedicated to, can we go to Tatooine? And like the 4 locations everyone knew, they were like, can we do this? I'm like, guys, it's a whole universe. You are over here on Onderon right now, but there are like thousands of planets between you and Tatooine.
You heard of Corellia? You want to go there?
Take me to Camino. I wish to swim.
All right, let's keep moving then, guys. So a 2-for question here. CG currently has a focus on Clone Wars. Well, they don't really. What focus will they have after this? The focus at the moment is on the Phantom Menace, more than Clone Wars. Mm-hmm. And who's going to be the next GL or capital ship? Very open-ended questions. I'm happy to put forward my ideas, but I'll pass it to the floor, and I'll be back in a moment.
Well, I think for the new GL, I'll get mine real out because mine are out there. True Revan, and I think Old Republic's getting a makeover. I think if the next faction after we get through the Gungans episode 1, Separatists for the fleets, I think we're getting True Revan, and we're going to get some Old Republic characters in, and they're going to expand it because it needs love bad, right? And if you're going to do GL for a faction that's not Jedi or Rebels and all that other stuff, I'm still thinking True Revan for there. So that's just my thoughts.
And I mean, they could make GL Revan unaligned Force user with like more of the Starkiller kind of synergy where it requires both light and dark, which would be cool. But
yeah, but if they do that, for the love of God, give us the prescripted team. Make it like Jabba all over again. If we're going to do a faction that's going to use both tags,
give me some sort of synergy and give me the 4 marquees to go with it. Don't do the bullshit of well, yeah, you can put Hondo anywhere. Except for you can't, because he lacks so much synergy. He's just like, I'm good in some teams, sometimes, but the datacron is going to dictate if I see action or not. I'm like, yay, I love Hondo. So much fun. He's really good in 3s, but 5s he kind of plays this weird role. But anyways, back to the point. Yeah, I would love to see them do more like Revan or Old Republic stuff in general.
Yeah.
I would like them to do some KOTOR 2 characters and get me some Mitra Surik. As like the co-character to go with that. I would love to get Lord Scourge to come up and be part of the be the tank for the team. There's a couple others I could see going back and forth. I could see Bastila being a fun one, like a old Bastila Shan or a different version of her could be fun to have in there. But I think if they do it, it would need to be at the best like an UFU character that uses Jedi, Sith, and UFU kind of tags. But they would need to then be specifically like Old Republic or Revanite or some sort of thing where they kind of keep it together. But the short of it is that I'm fairly confident for the next ship it will be Separatist. I can't see them really going much of in the direction. I can't see them really doing a third GR fleet. I can't really see them doing light side Old Republic. That doesn't seem like that would mesh with me. The only only light side fleet that would make sense for me in the game right now would be New Republic, which we are just way too far off of from even getting. So it makes sense for me for them to be in the veins of doing a dark side fleet, because Separatist fleet, they could easily do it. They only need to add about 3 to 4 ships to make it work, going both directions. So that way you have Malevolent set up, and then you've got the new Separatist ship set up. But they could completely go out left field. Like I said, the chase bundle that comes out probably in the next 6 to 8 weeks will be the deciding factor of which way they're running with it. So
100%.
That'll give us that. As for the GL, I'd love to see Revan Reborn, but I have low hopes in that. Mostly because I think there's too much groundwork that needs to be done to get there. So realistically, because if they don't do it with Satil Shan at least in the game, like I can't imagine why they would go down that road. Anyways, I would say that more than likely the next GL is going to be, because let's see, we should be technically on a dark side GL. Technically.
Yeah. Technically it should be a light side fleet.
With the interesting addition of Queen Amidala's synergy, I think it actually opens up some interesting spots. Because with Queen Amidala, she synergizes with young Obi-Wan, but she synergizes with the new Qui-Gon, and that's really interesting to me because we've never really had a character that's not a specifically different character from someone else, because we already have Qui-Gon in the game, and there's not really another side of Qui-Gon that we're getting just a new Qui-Gon, and so I think it's a kind of a separation, so we could see an actually separatist GL. I personally don't like the idea too much, but I could see them doing a Tyrannus GL, a new General Grievous GL, since they've kind of introduced this new thing this year of, hey, we're going to make characters that are basically the same but different. So
yeah, I could see them definitely doing something Darth Tyrannus-esque. That would make a lot of sense for me because he
was the de facto leader of the Separatists.
And it'll be a place for Trench to come off the bench.
There you go.
Oh my God, right? But for me, the problem I have with the Separatist GL is that it's the same problem that I have with like certain fleet aspects, right? There are too many like voids to fill in that they have to just dump. So it's like if they're not going to be like, oh yeah, by the way, from June until the end of the year, you're getting a marquee every 2 weeks. Like it just becomes very difficult for them to dump that many characters out. But it's not impossible. It's CG. They can do whatever the hell they want with it. But it's just
push it back. They have been doing a lot of different stuff this year. They could push it back into next year, and next year is the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith. So then it's set up perfectly for Galactic Republic and Separatists.
Yeah. No, I would say there's a strong chance that if the GL comes this year, it'll be late. It'll be Thanksgiving to Christmas. It'll take over their end of year release because we rolled so quickly from Bo into Jar Jar. Jar Jar is coming way sooner than we had when Cal released. His last character was released in May, and his event came at the end of June. No, or was it? It was in May, I think, but the event came at the end of June. So we had a lot more time, and everyone's anticipating Jar Jar being released in May, so like a whole 2 months sooner. So if they're gonna push out a new ship and a new GL, which they kind of have to do at this junction, the metas they run too long on the same thing, and everyone gets sick of it. So that means you get the ship will probably be sometime into late August, early September, and then you got a few more months to crank out a GL. So it's going to be a pretty breakneck pace this year. If they want to do another legendary event on top of this,
I can't.
You're going to bleed. Yeah, you're going to bleed too many players dry. You got to keep enough fumes in the tank to keep players running. Otherwise, they just throw their hands up and say no.
You think about this year, we've already had a full Gungan faction. Get Queen Amidala with new units coming. We also get the new raid. We're also getting, we had the STAP. We're also getting a PC client. It's like, how are we going to fit in the last 6 months of the year? Are we going to fit in a new GL capital ship, a new GL, and a legendary event at the end of the I can't see it happening. There's too much going on. I think something's got to give. I wouldn't be surprised if one or other of them gets pushed out till the next year. I've said it before when it comes to what do I think we're going to focus on after the Phantom Menace, and I think it'll be Ahsoka content. Not necessarily a GL to tie in with that, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get like Baylan Skoll and Shin Hati. Maybe we get Morgan Elsbeth. Maybe we get the Great Mothers. Maybe we get a new Thrawn. Maybe we get a capital ship. Maybe we get Night Troopers. There's a lot of content that they can pull from that show. But I don't necessarily think that's going to be a galactic legend or a capital ship. So I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Oh, also Ezra. Yeah, him, Ezra, Padawan, Sabine. Like, give me all these things. I want all of them. Yes, please.
I think with specifically Thrawn and Ezra, I don't think we're going to get anything just yet because they weren't too big of a piece of the show. So I feel like they'd want to show off the characters more to drive up the hype in following whatever Ahsoka season or whatever movie.
Ahsoka and Thrawn is going to wait for sure. But content from the shows, I think, can definitely come and feed into an ultimate GL for that faction eventually.
When season 2 drops, I think that's the more likely time of seeing stuff from Ahsoka come into play. I think they'll work on building things up from that. I would be massively surprised if Siege does not use this exit ramp to bring in the New Republic fleet as part of their expansion of the fleet and then what they're doing, because you have so many new things that they introduced with the Ahsoka show that you can implement fairly easily. So that would be fun, but I mean, they've got so much ground to cover by introducing brand new factions. I mean, you look at how much work they have to do just to drop in the Gungans. They need so much support because it's a brand new team. You got to drop in 4 characters plus a legendary. You got to pump all that out. That's taking 3.5-4 months to make even that happen. So it's like you got to do the same. Fleets are almost more complicated.
That's the beauty of Ahsoka content in general. Is there's no new factions necessarily. You can throw in Skoll and Shin Hati. They're just unaligned dark side force users. Like
sure,
Sabine, Ezra, they're just Jedi. They could be New Republic, but they could be just Jedi. You've got Morgan Elsbeth, and any additional Night Sisters are just Night Sisters. It's like a lot of it is very easy and doesn't actually need to be, this is going to create a whole new faction. It can be individual lifter units for existing factions. That might eventually turn into something independent.
Yeah. They could do the switcheroo they did, like when they did with Bas Lashan Fallen, right, where she got the OR tag initially until they released Revan, and they switched it to Sith Empire.
Yeah.
I could see them doing something similar to that for Thrawn, because if they do a team for Thrawn, it's going to have to be a team for Thrawn.
Oh, agreed.
Which means they need to start carving out synergy, because that's what we see a lot of with CG. When they want to make specific things work, they start carving out synergy by either introducing new tags or excluding the use of certain tags in the team. And so it's like, if they don't do it initially, they would do it when the main thing shows up, because it just doesn't make sense to.
Well, they'll just call out unique characters' names within kit. If such and such exists on the team, then this character has 100% of its power. If not, it's 20%.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just tie it all in.
Yeah,
I'm curious about Crosshair, because people have been wanting that for a while, and Bad Batch Season 3 is coming.
Well, after Season 3.
Coming to an end.
Coming to an end. I paused in the middle of that sentence. You are correct.
Yeah. No, I would love to see something with that, but I don't know what they do with it, man. Like, it just, you got to bench somebody, and CG's.
And I just relic 9'd my damn Omega, so
nullifying, come on. If they did like another like clone, like I could see them doing an older version of it, depending on where Bad Batch leans into next. Because like Bad Batch basically has, they've already said there's going to be another animated show that continues the torch of the story lines that are in the background of the show, things that they've started. So like right now we have 2 main options. One is getting the backstory on Asajj and how she survived and how and her story moving forward. The other one is, unless they show at the end of the Bad Batch, which I don't know if they're going to or not, is what has Captain Rex been up to, and do they do kind of a full-on like clone rebellion type thing, or do they just do like Captain Rex starts the beginnings of the Rebellion Underground with Senator Battleground and stuff like that, and kind of setting up that stuff and getting like the Andor kind of vibe of a show where we're doing sneaky stuff now and we're not doing full on assault things. So there's a couple options they could go to.
Did you guys read the Old Republic Commando books?
No.
Yeah. Long time ago.
I would be more inclined to see them do something like that with Rex, where he's trying to siphon out the clones and just get them out of the army versus full-on rebellion kind of thing, considering where we find Rex in Rebels.
Yeah, 100%. I would agree with that too, but they're just different things they could do after Bad Batch concludes. That there might be something from that they can pull and bring in Crosshair then with a different faction. But as to Bad Batch, I have a hard time with thinking that they're going to go back. They made some pretty adamant decisions to stick with Omega.
Yeah.
At the time of their release, because nobody wanted her, and everything that they were setting up for was for Crosshair, and everyone's just like, you totally bait and switched us. And they're like, well, we didn't, because we knew what we were doing, but you guys didn't.
Yeah. All right, let's move swiftly on because we have a couple more questions. So this comes from Zoidberg. He promises this time to keep it simple because last time he wrote a library of about 5 questions in 2 sentences. So thank you, Zoidberg. Appreciate that. Currently, characters cannot be taken past Gear 11 unless they are 5 stars or they are Hux. 7 stars or they are Hux. Do you think this should change? Ooh, that's an interesting question.
I believe Hux has been patched.
No,
really? I have no idea. I can't check it.
I can't check it either. But I had a buddy that said that he couldn't do it when he was making his account a year ago.
Who knows?
Yeah, unless they added a piece of gear to him that requires.
They'd have to change his gear, yeah. At Gear 11,
because that was the thing with him is that he had no gear at Gear 11.
That was gold, right?
That was yeah.
Honestly, to answer this question, I think it would be kind of cool if we could go to Gear 12, not necessarily to relics before 7-star, but Gear 12 would mean at least people could open up to the possibility of having 6E modding on those characters. I'm not against that.
You like that?
Well, there's so much though that you're missing with those star levels too. It's like I think the problem is that you almost bitter the opinion more. I would need to see stats. This is where I get into the technical part. I would need to see the stats of what the heck changes on being allowed to use my 6E mods with a character that's still not 7 stars, and how effective they are. Because it's like, my issue would be, at the top of my head, would be, if we allow you to go to Gear 12 and use these better mods, and your characters still suck, does that make you feel better about the investment? Because the answer is probably no the majority of the time. I don't think people like the fact that
having the ability to apply those mods in any scenario that I want. You know, it's more of a quality of life / convenience thing. I apologize. Excuse me. Thank you kindly. And more of a quality of life / convenience thing for me to be able to go, I can just throw a 6E mod on this character. Say Galactic Challenge, for example, and I need to use a faction I don't have much gear. I know you can't relate, Garth. I don't have the character at 7-star, for example, and I'm like, I just want to get some better modding on this person, so I can just throw some 6E mods. I mean, just that sort of thing would be handy. I don't necessarily think I'd be using them, because, as I've said before, unless a character is relict, I don't tend to use them at all, regardless.
Well, there's just most of the certain, you hit that certain threshold in the game where basically if it's not relic 3, it's basically dead weight on the offensive counters that you have available. Yeah. So my short answer is I don't think it matters in the long run. It would be a convenience thing, but I don't think it's not a big deal. I don't think it's going to be a major impact on a lot of players.
Sure.
Yeah, I definitely don't think bringing him up into relics before you hit 7 stars is something that we should ever be put in. Marvel Strike Force does something like that, where you have a character at 2-star, but you can have him as high gear as you want, And it makes it so, farming characters isn't important, and it makes it really hard to do legendaries because they can dangle shards away from you because they're like, oh, you don't actually need these shards for the character to be good, but to do the events you do, so you're going to have to pay some more money. And so, I don't know. It kind of made for an environment that I wasn't a fan of in Marvel Strike Force. So,
good to know. Good to know, because I've gotten no exposure to MSF. I know a lot of our viewership does though, so it's all news to me. What about you, Ranger? Any thoughts on being able to gear 12 characters before they are 7 stars?
I'm sitting here thinking about it. It's like I don't have a problem with it because it also would help with mods, because you can't take your mods up until you get them to 12 too. So I think I'm very much for it. Will CG do it? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think they will.
Because of because they, it's just the way they have it set up. So it's like, okay, what are you going to do? So, yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. Thank you for the question there, Mr. Zoidberg. So Wombat has a number of questions. If you could erase from existence one singular TW or GAC Omni, what would it be? I mean, does it have to be TW or GAC? I mean, can I just get rid of the Scout Cron? Fuck that thing.
Fair.
How about you first, then, Beaver? What do you think, mate? What would you get rid of?
I don't even know. I'm trying to think of. Okay, honestly, if I were to just off the cuff of my sleeve, the most annoying one to me that I think is stupid is the droid datacron, because it makes a character that I don't think people should relic 99% of the time when they're going for gas, and isn't really usable in most things. Suddenly usable just drives me crazy because it just forces people to relic things unnecessarily. And so it's a great cron. It's just, it annoys the shiz out of me because it's just monetizing a bad character.
Sounds like somebody who doesn't have Afra.
Yes.
God, they do it.
Because otherwise you would be wanting to put your DDK with your GG team, because how it stabs in the game, so that you can put B2 with your Afra team, because you need those bonus turns.
Need is a relative.
But yeah. You, without her datacron, you need them. Can't argue that point.
Yeah, Karth, what would you get rid of? You don't have many Omicrons for TW or GAC, so I'm sure it'd be an easy one for you.
No. More than likely, I think I would get rid of the T3 and 4 on me. I think they need I think it's a complete waste of time now with Droidica's Omicron in play and where the state of the droid teams are. It's there's just no real interest in it, or it doesn't do anything meta-wise that makes sense for the investment. So it's even Jyn Erso still has a use, even Lando still has a use. A lot of these teams still have uses, but T3 and 4, it had one brief datacron set of being fun and annoying, and then went right out the window when DDK showed up, because it was oh, well, why would I do this when I can just give everyone a free revive?
Yeah, I never applied the T3 one, so
I haven't either. I just know I'd get rid of it.
Oh, okay. How about you, Ranger? What would you get rid of?
Well, that's what I'm trying to think of, because for Omicrons, for me, unless I know for a fact they're awesome, I don't touch them, whether it's TW or GAC. Now, typically the ones in GAC are pretty damn good. I'm thinking of some that have kind of fallen by the wayside, like Phasma in TW.
Phasma still has uses. It's just the development of the rest of your roster that dictates if it's still useful.
Because it's just a lot of God Almighty, just so many that I just don't touch in TW and stuff. I've done some, but the other ones I don't even think they're good to begin with, so I don't even dick with them. You know what I'm saying? So this one's a tough question for me, because it's I mean, I guess the ones on Django is if you care about Django, those are ones I'd be why? I guess if you really want to go hard for Django and TW, right?
He means Boba Fett sign of Django, by the way, for listeners at home.
Yes.
Yeah. Sign of Django.
Sodge.
Those can kind of go the way of the dodo, because I mean, unless you're hardcore TW, and even then, it's like, yeah, he's okay, but it's nothing like some of these other ones. It's like, and the other thing too about Omicrons too, with datacron introduction, it completely flips the script on some of these. It's like, yeah, it makes sometimes the fights harder or easier if you don't have them or have them, but if you have the right datacron, it's like, I don't care what your Omicron is. I'm going in with this team and you're going to die. It's like, yeah. So I don't know. I think some of the TW ones I would probably lean into, kind of gone by the wayside, but yeah.
I feel like Dad Bod Boba is kind of one of those ones that just the whole character needs to either get reworked or completely taken out. Not so much the Omicrons themselves, because he's just not great.
Well, they just locked all his power behind his TW Omicron, so he's just incredibly invaluable. It doesn't hold value outside of it.
They keep stealing the core components of his team, like all the time. Like okay, we get Bam, we get Bo, and Bo takes Bam. Well, Bam is a key component of the SWGoH team. It's just like, if you go to full bounty hunters, it's not bad. Don't get me wrong; it can still do things, but it's not nearly as, without that DI, it's not nearly as powerful. So there are just a lot of components to SWGoH that go out the window because of whatever meta's being pushed at the time.
Yeah. Personally, I would get rid of Juhani's one, and it's for purely selfish reasons. I just don't want to be forced to gear her and Omi her. Like, that's literally it. My guild is like, you must do it, and I'm like, but I don't want to. So, plus I don't have the Zeta to give her either, because she needs the Zeta before I can apply the Omi, so I've got to gear her Zeta and Omi her? No, please, no. Let's just get rid of it. I'm vetoing Juhani.
To be fair, when it comes to non-territory wars, non-Grand Arena, Finn is the one I'd get rid of, just because I cannot tell you how many people who have gotten Lightspeed bundles and then accidentally applied that Omicron when leveling up his abilities.
They deserve it.
Sortie Omicrons.
Oh my god.
I mean, there are 100 plus people that have already applied the Phalanx Omi. So there is that. There are 100 plus crazy people.
Oh my gosh, that's so depressing.
Could you imagine being that guy? I mean, gross. All right, so moving on then. Wombat has a couple other questions. If you could swap the uniques of two characters, what would they be and why? Bloody hell, the uniques of two characters. That's a very broad question.
Yeah, these are some like hard thinking questions.
It's like, Jesus. I didn't come here to think like this, man. Who said there was going to be math on this test? God damn it.
It's too much thinking on alcohol.
That's way too much thinking. God almighty.
I'm going to swap GL Ray's Galactic Legend with Lord Vader's Galactic Legend unique.
Yeah.
And that's my answer. I don't have to think anymore.
Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know. We can,
but it changes things so fundamentally. It's like, okay, well, wait a minute. What does that say specifically? That's like, because they've. It's not like when we first started Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, where you could intermax a lot of these, abilities and stuff with one another. Now they're so specific to the teams and things of that nature, right? Besides the generic ones, like for the GLs or other things, right? It's like, if I took Darth Malvish's and added it to Rey, what would happen? Nothing, because it's all about Sith Empire. That would suck, So I'm sitting here going, what could you change out? Basics or something. I mean, it'd be nice if we had some ability we could change out with Lord Vader so he could ignore taunt, I think, or something along those lines.
Yeah,
I would love just anyone getting the whole unique from Bosk of being able to, regain taunt if someone else has protection. Like, I'd give that to any tank in this game and love it.
Could I swap it for every single battle in GAC to recover banners all the damn time? Yeah, every banner ends with full banners. Every battle, sir.
Like, being able to go in with Bosk's unique on the Gungans, like onto the Phalanx, so every time the Phalanx loses taunt, if another ally, or like the weakest ally has protection, he regains taunt. Heck yeah, never get into that shield generator.
Yeah. That could be nice. Just permataunt on that guy forever, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that one's a bit broad. I'm gonna skip over because we could be here a while. He's got two other questions. One is how many bits to apply Gungan Phalanx Omni? 10,000 bits, Wombat. And the other one is
10,000. That's just too low of a number.
That's way too little.
10 million bits. There we go. Much more reasonable number. If a tune had its kit changed, basically,
Pirate Software got in his world record hype train.
Oh, okay? 8.2 million bits. Yeah, 8.
Yeah, then I'll do it.
Or alternatively, a level 106 hype train. Yes. And then I'll apply it. Okay.
If we break a level 100 hype train on Scribe's channel, he will apply the Omni
automatically.
And I will also gift Karth packs so he can buy Omicrons and apply it as well. All right.
Yeah, because I'm in desperate need of Omicron now.
You are. You're scraping the bottom of the barrel. You're putting the hands down the sofa trying to find those Omicrons. He just doesn't have any. Halfway to 9. That not 9 mats. That's 9 full Omnis, I think.
Yeah. I think about 100.
Just 1 sec. I'm going to grab a bone for this dog real quick.
Yeah, no worries. The last part is, if you could unnerf a character that's been nerfed, what would it be? And Wombat said, and why is it Lord Vader is immune to turn meter manipulation? That probably wouldn't be the first point.
That wasn't a nerf. That was his kit. His kit was designed that way intentionally so that you couldn't use it with EP Mara. Like, that's 100% why it's in his kit. It was never a nerf.
I mean, you could, like, that. You would never take a turn. Like, unless it was JMK who just completely stops it. It would be like, it takes 1 turn, AoEs, and then boom, turns. Oh, Correa's come in with 20 gifted memberships. Oh my god, thank you so much, dude. That is insane. Get some W's in the chat for Joe Correa.
For Shirtless Ranger.
I'm not applying that on me.
I need more. Please, thank you.
Oh, gosh.
Need all the members.
I didn't do shirtless unless paid in Monopoly money.
Yeah. So nerfs, unnerfing of characters. I know what I would do. And it would be unnerfing Watt's weapons deck, because I love that thing. And they didn't rebalance Watt at all, and it makes me sad.
Mm-mm. No, they really should have either given the weapons tech. What they should have done with the weapons tech is added additional true damage based off of a stat that the character that gets it. So, like, based on their max health or based on their max protection or whatever.
Relic levels, that way, CG will be happy.
Something. Something. But that's what they should have done with Watt to make it useful.
It could even be something like, 10% armor penetration per relic level on the equipped character. So relic 9, you've got 90% armor pen. Great.
Yeah, that could work.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of, because there was only like 4 or 5 characters that got hit in the nerf, right? It was like Luke, Gas.
But I think this is just like any nerf that's ever happened, to be honest.
I mean, like, all the big nerfs that happened though were like getting rid of characters that have the ability to ignore defense. That's it.
Most of the nerfs have happened.
Like,
it's before my time on Galaxy Heroes. Mm-hmm. I mean, I would love for Gas to still be just amazing, and that was probably the nerf that I'm most sad about, because I love Anakin as a character and always have. And Gas was a major PP for me, passion project. and
also major PP.
What kind of people talking about here? Let's not get crazy.
Which bone did you go get?
That's right.
Yeah, we have a going thing where, it's always fine to have a little PP. It's okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
When you're going through a roster review and you're talking about, people are going through and they're like, oh, I really wanted Lord Vader. I'm like, hey, I'm not going to shame your PP. It's fine. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you're struggling and getting bogged down with the game, just maybe work a little bit on your PP and you'll feel better.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
Listen, I will always shame you for your PP, no matter the size.
I feel like we've gone off topic here. What were we actually talking about?
Nerfs.
Nerfs.
The nerf is that we want to get back all of our armor ignore, and then we'll move to the next question.
Yeah.
Bane Omicron nerf.
No.
It was a nerf. It was definitely not intended that way.
Oh, yeah, I just don't think it matters. I'm like, oh, okay, fine. Yeah, he still kills everything.
Yeah. Like, if he actually was, like, working with Sith Eternal as, like, the normal thing that we do with him, I think I would be much more upset about that nerf. But, like, as it is, we don't use them together.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. I mean, it's Darth Bane, for Christ's sakes. I mean, if you read the books, he used to go through Jedi like hot butter through night, and it's like God Almighty. So I've been having a lot of fun with that. I think it's really cool. That Darth Bane's that powerful in the game, as he should be. Yes.
What would you unnerf, Ranger?
I don't know, because there hasn't been that many. It's been a long time since we've had one. I can't even think of the latest one. I mean, Leviathan was not a nerf, that was fixes. Oh my God, was that a big fix?
It was a massive buff, man. Not only fixes, it got a massive buff.
Jesus, what a mess that was. Nothing really.
That's actually, I take it back. That's the one thing I would fix. I would get that isolation. I would get rid of that nerf. Get rid of it.
Oh my God. There's nothing that really comes to mind, because the changes they've made, and I always warn people, when you see something like that come along and then it gets nerfed, there's a good reason for it, because you're not going to try to convince me that a bunch of marquees are supposed to be going in and kicking the crap out of a GL. You're not going to convince me. I think the what was it, the zombie one that they were doing in the raids back in that would be cool to bring back, that we could do all this unlimited crap with her. We were doing it tier 3 of the Sith raid and stuff. That would be kind of fun to go back and do that. That one kind of comes to mind, because as soon as we figured that one out, I was like, what have we found here? Okay, everybody jump in and go for it. So it's like, that's the one that kind of comes to my head, just for fun. It's just for
you do know that Zori is the unnerfing of Finn, right?
Yeah, basically, it's finally giving us back the Finn meta.
Yeah, the Finn meta from when the OG Finn lead from pre-Sith raid, and then when we could exploit it in the raid, they nerfed the crap out of it.
Yeah.
I remember, like, my first couple of weeks of playing the game, I looked up how do I get through Galactic War, because I was getting stomped, like, every single time. And, like, all of the Reddit threads that showed up as the top results were you just use Finn and just call it a day. And I'm like, is Finn good? And I'm like, couldn't find it.
You used it and I was like, that doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Actually, the one I wish they would go back and change, that were like the Sith raid is what triggered a lot of this in my head, is SRP. With the turn meter on basic guaranteed. I would love to have that back for Momo. That would be so good, man.
No, thank you. I don't want infinite turn meter teams. Like, no, too many.
All you gotta do. SRP's original basic was to grant 15% turn meter to all rebel allies.
But who is SRP?
A Scarif Rebel Pathfinder.
Scarif Rebel Pathfinder. I was like,
yeah. No,
okay. Scarif Rebel
Pathfinder. It wasn't. I wish that they would have, instead of giving accuracy up on basic, it would have been speed up on basic. I'm a little annoyed they went such a different direction with the buff, but speed up would have been fine. But I do miss that. They just need. All we got to do, though, Scribe, to be honest, is to give you a hard counter to that. Is just be like, give teams that give doubt, or give teams that, like Earl Vader, if you have a dot, you can't gain turn meter.
You're telling me to fix something that I don't like is to introduce more of something that I don't like. Carth, get out of here.
Yes.
Get out of here, bud. It's like, I just said. You're trying to make me more bold. That's what you're trying to do. God damn. God damn.
Not a hard challenge.
No, I mean, it's, awesome. Yeah, it starts growing inwards into my head. That's what happens next.
Wax everything, every square inch of Scribe.
Yeah, is that what happens? Is it grows into your head and then out your chin? Is that how
exactly? It works? That is how it works. That's why it takes me so long to grow a beard, because it has to come all the way through my skull. Yeah, it's not easy being bald. You know what I mean?
Next question.
Yeah. Casey Wonder 99 says, what's the next big missing faction? And try to give each faction its own large unit. No, I will not do that second part because that's a lot of factions. But next big missing faction.
Oh, there's so many you can go down the road with. I mean, I've already talked about like Old Republic and stuff, but that needs to work. But I don't know. There's so many. God, we could be here for an hour or two.
New Republic. Yeah. There you go.
New Republic is something I think will be explored as time goes on.
Yeah.
If they don't introduce the Starhawk as the capital ship to the New Republic, I will throw rocks.
Malicos does that already, Koth. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but mine will be effective.
No, we found out yours weren't effective, Koth. We tried it. Those rocks, they were more like pebbles. They were more like
somebody
pebbles.
Else driving.
They were like the rocks that Kenobi throws at Vader at the end of the Kenobi series. You're like, what are those? Like, what are those rocks made out of? Or what's Vader's armor made out of? Because he was just able to take that directly to the head. So it's like, it's fine.
What's the density of these rocks on this planet? You know. You do a quick geological survey.
It's just the gravity on that planet is really, really low. So the rocks just sort of go, hey, bonk.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
There are options. I just don't know where I want to go into next because it's like, I have a hard time with that one. There's just too many like nooks and crannies. It's like, how specific do you want to get? Because like, I would love to get, clone commandos as the next faction. I would use my shit for that, but it's just clone troopers again. So
we don't have enough of them.
No, we clearly don't have enough clone commandos because we have 0.
No, clone troopers in general.
They're different.
Speaking, 1, 2, 3,
bad batches are commandos, but
we have 12 clones at the moment in the game.
Major factions.
30 rebels.
I don't feel like there's any new major factions besides New Republic that's like one that I'm like, oh yeah, we need to add in. I mean, a minor faction I'd love. I guess it could be a major faction depending on how things go in canon and everything. I would love a Chiss fleet and a Chiss team with like Eli Vanto to help out Thrawn and making out a full Thrawn team.
Yeah.
But as for like major factions, I can't think of any that they've kind of skipped over.
No idea. Ranger J, how about you, sir?
Well, they're saying in chat there's a clicking sound again, and so I'm researching that right now, trying to figure out what the hell's going on because I see it's cars lighting up, but it's not happening with you two. So I'm on full. I'm going down the rabbit hole because
somebody clickety clackety over the microphones.
It's some kind of audio thing, and I don't know what it is. And
it is literally only when Ranger and I stream together, though.
I don't understand. Because I just was with you yesterday, right, Scribe, and we didn't have this problem, right? So I'm just like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, I mean, I could mute you guys and figure it out and see who it is, but okay, I'm going to mute Ranger just for a minute. Oh my god, I keep pressing buttons and things keep happening, and now Karth has a big face. Okay, so Ranger is currently muted.
Ooh.
Karthric, talk and do stuff and things.
I can talk and do all the stuff and things and do whatever I want to do and have a good time. But I'm really not sure which part of this is me.
Yeah, I don't think it's you. So I'll bring back Ranger. I don't know. Sorry, guys. It's the Phantom Clicker.
It's really weird because when I'm looking at it, it's lighting up on cart, but I'm like, what is that? So I'm like going down the rabbit hole right now. So apologies to everybody. It's like, what is that?
I am not moving. I am sitting perfectly still. There should be no.
Yes.
It doesn't. There's no noise right now with it, so that's really strange. I don't know why it's doing it. It's just random, and I don't know what's causing it.
That's okay.
It is, but I could hear it, and I was like, wait a minute. It wasn't at the beginning of the stream, so what changed? And now it's back, and it's only me and Karth been doing this.
Yeah.
That's weird. We didn't have it much yesterday on Today Academy. Anyways, back to the questions.
Yeah, back to the questions. J-Blade says, why is there no Tribe Talks on Spotify? It's because your boy Scribble is lazy. I put up like the last episode earlier today, so that will be up there, and I'll try and get this one up soon after finishing this. It's just, I live a busy life, guys, and having to recompile a 3.5-hour podcast and post it locks up my computers for 3.5 hours, and I don't have the time, the energy, or the patience. So I'm a terrible human being, and I'll try and be better at uploading these podcasts. I'm sorry, you can still get them on YouTube.
Do it right before you go to bed. That's all you gotta do. Just press buttons and go to bed.
Okay, Karth, you can do the uploads to Spotify going forward. That's what I took out of that. It's
going to take you longer to send me those videos.
Yes, but you are failing to take an account of A, I'm petty, and B, fuck you.
And C, they will not be uploaded to an account that you have control over.
Exactly. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
You're at the DMC me to get your content back.
Yeah, that's right. I'll put a DMCA strike on you. I was like, that's not your content, Garth. I claim all of the pennies. Yeah, indeed. So the next actual question is from Running Baldman. Do you think that Master Qui-Gon and Padawan Obi will get a ship that got... will get the ship, that was blown up in Episode 1? And do you think it would go with Endurance or Negotiator? I don't know what ship this is. It's been a while since I watched The Phantom Menace, but I'm watching it next month. So...
Yeah, the Ambassador ship. I mean, it would have to go with Negotiator because Endurance is meant to be clones, technically, although it hasn't been. Technically, that's what they're going for. So if they do the ship, I would assume it'd go Negotiator. I doubt we'll get it. It sounded like when someone asked about N1 Starfighter coming, when the Quadme reveal was, I think the response was... I will be trying to get the N1 Starfighter going. We'll see, though.
Okay.
So,
what was the name of the ship?
We'll get... I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
Is it Padme's ship?
No. He's talking about the one that Qui-Gon and Anakin were on. Anakin. Obi-Wan
that's that's a frigate, man. That ain't going anywhere.
That's way too big.
So you know the ships, the ships that go under
Negotiator.
GK's Negotiator, it's of that size. Not the same ship, but it's of that size.
It's a little bit big.
That's a little too big.
Just a little too big.
Yeah, I doubt we see
a piloted ship.
I could definitely see an N1 Starfighter coming to the game, but it would be weird to throw it in with Negotiator.
No, the Negotiator split at some point is going to push towards the clones being in one fleet and the Jedi being in another. Is the direction they'll head with that, and then probably the Y-wing will stick with the Jedi fleet, and then the clones will get some other help.
Mm-hmm. You think we'll get the Mando N1 to lift up the Executor?
Eventually, I think we'll get the Mando N1, but I don't think there's no reason to get it, and I would hope it doesn't lift up the Negotiator, because because it just doesn't feel right, But then again, Razor Crest doesn't feel right; it just doesn't make sense.
I would love if they made using the Star Destroyer they have in Mando, doing a full Mandalorian fleet.
Hell yeah, that'd be sick. Yeah, Mando fleet would be cool. Okay, let's move on then. Next question comes from HodHod1863. Question: create a kit using existing character skills. This sounds like a very long process.
Yeah, it sounds like homework.
That sounds like homework. We don't do that here, HodHod. I'm sorry. So I'm just gonna skip that.
Day and it led to the butt sock, and we don't want to relive that.
The what?
That's when before Phoenix came out, way back in the early days of streaming, when someone asked us to could you guys create kits for characters that aren't in the game yet? So we decided to do the from the Rebel show, we did the Phoenix. Mm-hmm. And so we created Zeb, and I had put all this stuff together and sent it to Finn, and he put it on the display. He didn't understand when I said butt stock smash, because in a rifle, being former military and stuff, that's what you call it, right? He misinterpreted and said butt sock smash. So when we got live, it's one of the things I started reading. I'm like, and the next ability is the butt sock smash. what the hell is a butt sock? He's like, you know, when you smash the, you know,
when you put a sock up your butt
with the butt of the with the butt of the rifle. I'm like, no, that's not how that works. I mean, it was pandemonium. So after that, we gave up on doing that stuff. So
yeah, don't butt sock people, guys. Don't butt sock. That's the takeaway from today. I mean, I'm sure creating a kit would be fun, but I feel like we could be here for 45 minutes to an hour. So we're going to pass up on the butt sock. Do we think that CG will make up a GL similar to Drogon and bringing Darth GL Jar Jar to the game? No from me, Running Baldman. Anybody else?
Yeah, it's hard for me. Like, they already struggle enough drumming up excitement for like Drogon and Shorty themselves that I don't think it's possible unless they could somehow do like I make an original character and then we get, you know, Disney to agree to making a book about them. If they were able to do something like that, I think they could pull it off, but it's not something that I could ever see actually happening. Yeah, I don't see them ever doing it. Like, don't get me wrong, if they went down the what if route and they did stuff like, what if we had a galactic legend where Vader never turned to the dark side? We got a light side GL Vader-esque type thing, would be GL Anakin Skywalker, right? I can see people having interest in that, but fabricating a character from scratch and expecting people to give a damn is, that's a very tall order. Very tall order, I feel. Yeah.
Carthrick, you look very confused.
No, sorry. I'm watching. I'm doing the same thing Ranger was doing. I'm watching my screen light up while I'm doing nothing, and then I do hear the clicks coming through, and I'm trying to figure out which part of my setup is doing that, and that's what I'm focusing on.
I see.
It's really weird because you guys like did that whole focus where you like muted and everything, and then you guys talked about it. Whole time I didn't hear the clicking once.
Yeah.
And then started hearing it again now.
I know, and I'm not pressing buttons, doing anything. I don't know where the hell it's coming from. Like I'm perplexed.
Yeah.
At this one.
Oh dear me. Okay. So next question comes from Hevorius. With so much content in the game now to keep us engaged, is it past time for CG to remove the timed daily tasks like Fleet Arena or even somehow the 6-hour refreshes? How would you like to see them implement that? I don't think we're going to see a removal of when we get energy refreshes. I think that's an incentive from CG to get us to log in multiple times a day and maximize screen time. Apart from that, like fleet climbs and stuff like that, it would be nice, but I can't see it happening. It would be nice if say in any given 24 hours you get the payout for the highest you climbed, so you don't have to be in first at your payout time. It'll say, oh, today in this last 24 hours you hit first in fleet, therefore you get your fleet payout. But again, I don't think that's something that they'll do because that's just increasing crystals in circulation. Because people would just everybody would get first. They'll be like, I'm just tagging first so I can get my crystals. So I think it's a tricky one.
I would like to see. I do think there are problems with it overall, but MSF, the way that they did it last I checked, if I recall correctly, because it has been like 1.5 years since I played MSF, but all of their energy refreshes, they don't expire until the next one starts. And so basically you could get on between, for me, I have my refreshes set up at 10 a.m. So I could get on any time between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m.
That's
and
nice.
Get my refreshes.
Instead
and
of a 2-hour
I would
window,
actually
right?
really... Yeah, so I would enjoy that because it would still encourage the, getting on multiple times a day, but it would be much more fluid for those people who are busy or at work and things like that.
I think that's a really good change. I'd like to see that.
The only problem that CG has with minimizing the daily objectives and stuff like that is the ticket system that they've implemented with for your raids. So it's like if they do something like Marvel Strike Force, which Marvel Strike Force has a system in place that if you are on a 7-day streak, then if you log in on day 8, you automatically get all your things done right off the rip. You don't have to do any of it. You just automatically log in, collect all those bonuses. You're done.
Nice.
And
the only reason it doesn't really work for us, because we have, those fun little tickets we have to generate by spending energy. And so you could still do it. It would still be better than the current system, but you would probably wind up with more players inadvertently not hitting tickets because they didn't have to do any of their objectives. So the only way you could do that is if they changed the raid system to a fashion in which they did for like home, which is like if you complete all your daily objectives, then you get keys for the raid essentially, right? And that's how you would change that to make it so that the streaks made sense. But that would be one of the things I think that they should do is just, hey, log in enough, get things done at auto complete and be done with it.
You do have to be careful with that though, because Marvel Strike Force does the same thing, except that like their raids are you're going through basically a galactic conquest with your guild.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so you can sim the raids, but only if you have that finished, where you have the 8 days going. And so the moment that I quit was the moment that I forgot to play for a day, and all of a sudden I had to spend 4 hours actually doing my dailies and like doing everything that I need for my guild. I was like, nope, I'm done. There's no way I'm spending that time.
Yeah.
Like the amount of time investment you need for Marvel Strike Force if you miss a day is so incredibly high, and it drives me crazy.
Yeah. I've never played it. Well, I think I played like for maybe 2 weeks or something, and I was just like, I don't have the time to do Galaxy of Heroes stuff and MSF. Like it wasn't too bad with Heroes of Middle Earth because there was nothing to flip and do in that game. So like I could keep that going alongside SWGoH, but trying MSF was just like, this is too much going on. No, thank you, not for me. Yeah.
Yep. All right.
Next question. This comes from Lord Chicken, which, by the way, is a really good name. What are your least favorite characters in the game and why? Let's just go with one least favorite. And why do you like Cowboys? The Cowboys. Ranger, why do you like the Cowboys?
I just grew up in Texas, man. Whether you like when you love a team, man, when you grow up with the team and it becomes your team, you go through the good times and the bad times, right? The Cowboys are a train wreck, but I'm always going to support the Cowboys, right? And it's just like you guys will support your sports team. So it's no different with me and the Astros, I've gone through so many ups and downs with that team. Right now it's been ups, right? They've been to the World Series and won it and done all this great stuff. And then, eventually it's going to go back down. They're going to be trash. I went through like 4 years where they lost 100 games. It's horrible. You go through that with your teams. You just have those years where they do awesome and win it all, and then there's years that they're trash. And if you're a true fan, you go win with the good times and the bad times, and you just sit there and like the Cowboys this year is just like, oh God. I just know it's going to be a dumpster fire, but again, you don't, so well. What are you gonna do? So
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I think I figured out the clicking.
You did?
I think so.
Okay.
So when people go over a certain decibel volume, the clicking starts happening only when that's happening, especially when Scribe is speaking. I think it's someone's connections with their headset that's causing it. It's causing feedback. I don't know who it is or that kind of thing, but it's only when people are talking over a certain volume.
Holy moly.
It's happening right now, no one was speaking.
I was plugging shit back in now.
I'm going to mute Karth and we're going to see if it's him.
Okay.
Oops.
Scribe, just start going off because you're the one that set it off.
Sorry. Perforated eardrums, anyone? It's definitely Karth. Karth, you are the victim.
Already deaf.
Yeah, it's fine. It's got to be Karth. Karth, we blame you. Karthicus Prime. I dub the clicker of noises. You son bitch.
You have done this yourself, Anakin.
So we'll unmute Karth. Karth, it's you, goddammit. See, clicky click. Mute.
That's so bloody weird. What is that?
I don't know.
Yep, crap. So, yeah, we think it's you, Karth. I don't know why. I don't know why. But I've unmuted him now. See, there we go.
Yeah.
Click, click. Click, click. something going on in Karth's.
A curse for you, Karth? What the hell, man? Because I'm not giving. If it was me, with something with me, then I would be affecting Scribe and Beaver over there, but I'm not. So I'm like, well, okay, because I'm sitting there going through the same thing. I'm like looking at it every day, like, what is this? What is in the game? It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, I got no idea though. This is the first time it's happened on Scribe's stream.
It is.
It's happened on ours a lot too, and I don't know why that is. So strange.
Don't know.
The mystery of the ticking Karth. That's.
And I'm reading all this stuff. It's like, try this. Like, really? Reset your machine? Thanks for the tip, dumbass.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Have you tried plugging in the machine on and I was like, no, I thought I would just call you first before I tried something like that. Thank you.
Yes, the auto clicker is true.
What's the question again? What is your least favorite character?
What's the least favorite character in the game?
Oh, Eve Koth. It's my number one poo-poo diarrhea character.
Fair.
See, I won't agree with that because I'm going to pick a character that is a legendary requirement that is absolutely useless.
Okay.
But I just got to go check it, which one I'm thinking of.
Oh, Lobot. I mean, he's not absolutely useless. He's just practically useless.
He got the rework now that makes him useful with Sortie. It's not great, though. I won't lie.
I'm trying to think of more useless
legendary. Is it useless or is it just one we want to remove?
No, it's just your least favorite. I'm trying to think of
favorite character in game.
Least favorite in the entire game.
Is there any way that I could choose all of the Inquisitors?
I like the Inquisitors, though.
I'm sorry. Have you tried using the Inquisitors before getting Grand Inquisitor? They are the most trash team.
Yeah, you tried modding them properly.
Karth was an early adopter for the Inquisitors. Him and PK went balls deep on those Inquisitors when they first came out, and I had endless joy in telling you how wasted that investment was for the longest time.
It was not wasted. Good sir.
All those relic levels and all that modding to maybe beat Gas.
I beat Gas consistently. And JML if there was ever in TW.
Yeah, it's different kettle of beast. Different kettle of fish with Reaver, obviously. But yeah.
Well, the Inquisitors in general, though, they are a team that's CG's kind of like, they do it every once in a while. They develop a team that's like, if you have A-tier mods, you're good to go. You got this. I believe in you. If you don't, and you don't outrun things, eat all the dicks, because that's all you're going to be doing
for the next 6 months until you get Reba.
Inquisitors eat dicks. Mm-hmm.
I think I figured out my answer.
Okay.
And it hurts. It pains my soul that it's HK47.
Oh.
Because I love HK47. It's my favorite character in KOTOR. And the kit looks super good when you read it. But then it's not, because it's been replaced and there's no home for him whatsoever. You can't throw him with droid synergy. And so I'm probably going to have to HK.
So I was thinking of the vets was where I was kind of leaning into, because honestly, they don't have a place in any real meta. They never really have. They have these tags that aren't really useful, but then the other problem is there's always better iterations of those tags, right? Like, there was a brief time before Zori when veteran Smuggler Han and Chewie were good with a Finn team, because that was just what you needed to fill out the team. You had to relic them up for the thing. If you didn't need to relic them for a GL, I guarantee you they'd probably be the two most common characters still at level 55 Gear 1. Mm-hmm. Because they just have no place in the game. Veteran Chewbacca has one of the dumbest Zetas I have ever seen in this game. It is literally a single sentence text. It is the laziest Zeta that they ever put in the game, and it's just they got their little rework, with the resistance unique, but they still are getting replaced. They don't have a viable spot. They're not tanky. They're not ultra high damage. They have too many mix matching mechanics that you're trying to interplay from like the JTR lead days. But like we don't use JTR lead, and if JTR is a lead, she's leading something completely different. They're not going to go with those. There's just better options. So it's one of these things where it's like there's too much going on for them to find a good home. And it's like, and they're bottom tier scoundrels and smugglers. You're not gonna pick them over L3 or Vandor or Han Solo or Lando. The young ones that are going to just absolutely clap cheeks against certain lineups. When you put them with Dash. And so it's like there's just too many. They're just completely forgettable characters that we have to relic. It's like until Rose Tico got her Omicron in the ship, everyone here would have chosen Rose.
And Zori. Just like Zori has brought Rose into a crazy good spot.
Yeah. Without a doubt. I mean, if you'd have asked me what would I get rid of like 2 years ago, I would have said Houndstooth because it just broke Fleet forever.
Yeah.
And now we've got a load of solutions to Houndstooth, right? But back then, it was just such a stupid ship. It's like, it's the nest of ships. It's like, it's practically unkillable, or it used to be practically unkillable. And it's just made every fleet meta boring. It was like, okay, so you start off with Houndstooth, and it goes in every single fleet, and that's how you win. It's just like stupid. But now obviously we've got a lot more solutions to it, so I can't really say Houndstooth. So can I say the Endurance? I don't know. It's just kind of pointless at the moment. It's
on the verge of greatness. Okay.
It's on the verge of greatness.
It can beat Executor if you give it Marauder.
It can beat Profundity.
You know what else can beat Executor if you give it Marauder? Negotiator. It's like that's my only issue with it. It's like, and I said it so many times when the Marauder was out. It's just like, yeah, but why would you put it with the Endurance? Just throw it with the Negotiator, and it's a better fleet. I was like, oh, god damn. You said characters, not ships. In my opinion, your opinion is invalid. All right, cool. What have we got next? What is my favorite and least favorite Zeta? Chicken, you're asking too many questions. You got like 17 questions here, dude.
Jeez Louise.
All right, well, pick one out of these.
I already said the worst Zeta in the game. It's Veteran Smuggler Chewbacca.
It's not Bodhi Rook?
No, because at least that's useful.
Bodhi Rook and a Momo team can actually do some good work. I mean,
Zeta doesn't do anything in that team.
My least favorite, my two opponents have had. My two opponents this week have had the Mandalorian, OG Mando, lead Zeta.
Oh, and that breaks your heart.
And like the one from yesterday that I did on Grand Arena, or day before, whatever it was. It was OG Mando with Bam on the team, and then IG11, and I was like, dude, what? No,
that's not a bounty hunter team
like this.
Okay, but yeah, so OG Mando's lead Zeta is probably my least favorite Zeta I've ever seen, and it pains me every time I see someone have it because it's just there's never a reason.
Yeah,
I was thinking of Farm Boy Luke too. That one comes to mind, but it was like,
whoa! That extra 10% tenacity is clutch.
Yeah, I know. Try not to let that go into your head, there, Carth.
Yeah, I mean, like mechanically of what they add, like veteran Chewbacca is literally he gets the offense for another turn. That's all his Zeta does.
Nice.
When you apply it, and then it's like I'm just so used to Zetas, like because I started playing a little bit after they were involved. I was so used to Zetas adding like blocks of text. But like they still do have some that are very powerful that don't, have a ton of things that go with it, right? But the that one could never be applied or never even exist, and you would never miss it for anything. Other ones, depending on what the depth of your roster is, there are moments where they're usable. Bodhi Rook actually had a brief moment, and still does to a degree, working under Leia.
Carth, I think the clicking is coming from your camera moving up and down.
That's me shaking my
That's
foot.
what the clicking is. Shake your foot. Okay, no, that's not doing it.
I'm gonna touch the desk.
Yeah, the desk.
That's it.
See, I wasn't doing that before. That's the problem.
Oh,
it's exasperating the problem. That's what it's doing.
Exacerbating, yes.
It's just a condition.
Yes.
I don't think we're allowed to exasperate on stream. Hold on.
No. Or exfoliate either. I have on good authority.
You're thinking of the one that starts with M.
Yeah.
Especially masticating. Masticating is not okay.
Yeah, that is also
rule number 1 on stream.
Yeah.
No, like Bodhi Zeta at one point did have some random uses, but yeah, you're not wrong. It's still trash. It's still pretty trash.
It's trash. Yeah. All right, so we've got a question from Tommy1 and 2. Would you support a stamina type system for GAC? An enemy team would lose a percentage of stamina for each failed attempt. The banners earned from winning a battle would be decreased alongside the stamina, so efficiency is not punished. This would enable many teams to be beaten. It's an interesting theory. They
have a setup like this in a game I played, One Punch Man, and and if you look at Conquest, one of the things that drives me nuts with Conquest is the stamina loss, right? So it's designed that you have to have a wider roster, because even with your GLs, you reach a certain point of stamina.
Yep.
And it just goes poopy. But the other problem with that is with datacrons and everything, they'd have to revamp a lot of stuff for this to be a thing, right?
Yeah, because like you could really abuse it by just sending in a bunch of level 1 characters. Be like, yeah, okay, I've already dropped 2 battles. I'm going to send in 8 level 1 characters and just drain all the stamina, and then I'm going to throw in something that'll kill it. Like, I know, granted, you've probably already lost the GAC by that point, but there are going to be circumstances where one team is holding a wall that is going to win that person the GAC.
Yeah, if you clear, you win, and all you got to do is just bombard it into the floor now.
Exactly. I think it's abusable.
100%. I don't think it should be the way. I know people like to plan for a full clear. They feel better about a full clear. They want the full clear. Tough titties. Don't care.
So
if you want a full clear, go full offense.
Yeah.
If you want to win by defensive holds, then that's the risk
you're rolling. You're rolling the dice, man. Because with the way they've got this stuff set up right now, and it was like this. People forget this was like this before datacrons. It was just meta. If you had the team and they didn't, you won GAC. At least with, as much as I hate the efficiency wars, it does give opportunities to people to have a much better shot at beating something than in the past. Because in the past in GAC, you like Jedi Rev, you didn't have Jedi, you lost. They put it on the front line, you had no chance. You know what I'm saying? So there's been blocks like that before in this game. I don't know what the perfect balance is. I don't know if stamina would be the way with datacrons and omicrons and everything that's in there. But yeah, I mean, it's like, it's just the way it's designed. I don't know what the answer is, but I don't know about stamina. I can't stand stamina.
Just to answer your follow-up statement on that, Tommy, it's even if the banners were like next to 0 for clearing that team, if it means you clear a wall, sometimes all you need to do is clear the section, and that gets you the win. And that's the problem that I have with it, is if you've got, just imagine it, like your opponent has full cleared, right? And you need to kill one character to full clear the opponent. If you can clear that character, you'll win because you are more efficient on every other battle. You can afford to drop 50 banners on this and still win, so long as you get the full clear. That means you could literally throw any trash at this team. I think that it's situations like that I think it's not in the spirit of GAC.
Yeah, because I mean, I had that happen, not last round, but the previous, where my Finzori team held my front wall south. And I got like 9 holds on it. If he cleared it, he would have gone to fleet and won, guaranteed, 100%. So I think that the problem is exactly that situation. When you have a team that holds and they have no answers for it, well, that sucks to be them. That's a strategy issue. Like, I get people want to clear. I don't care. Like, that's not my problem. Like, that is your planning and your strategy. If you're not going to plan to clear, then don't be mad when it doesn't happen. Like, I get it. I've been on the verge of sending my phone through a wall because I couldn't beat a stupid team.
I've been there, but it's part of the game. If you make everything beatable, then there is no point in doing anything on defense, because it's just like, oh, well, you'll just send 5 trash teams at my one tricky team and then get through. And then it means I got to play a very stressful, high efficiency gag to make it so that if you make any mistakes, the game's over. But at that point, the game's over. Like,
if they were to add something like that, I feel like they'd have to cause banner loss to continue. And so if you hit over a certain amount, like 4 battles, 5 battles, you end up with 0 banners for the win. And so you're only getting your battles.
Yeah.
But I mean, even at that junction, like Scribe said, you would, if all you need to do is clear a zone to win, and I can send one team at a time and drop 10% stamina until your character stats are trash, and I've got a roster of just, gear 8s that aren't doing anything. Well,
you can just send in level 1 units one at a time.
That's all I'm going to do. It's the whole strategy about sending characters into burn cooldowns. Like, that's the one thing that annoys me the most with GAC is when you know how your opponents performed. Because
that's the thing that dictates a lot of the stuff. Like,
because it gives me doing that now the option to go, hey, can I just 2-shot that? Can I take in Night Sisters and clear out the sides, and then bring something cheap in to clear out Java, because I don't need to use a GL here to win off the rip. I can avoid that. And that's my problem when it comes with that kind of stuff, is that there's just too much information that's given out that makes it an advantage to go one way or the other.
I'd be a little bit more in favor of it if, in order to cause stamina drain, you had to deal 10% of their max health. You had to the combined max health, even if they heal back up, just have it.
Complicated system.
It is a very complicated system. I just don't want it to be abused more than anything else.
But I mean, at that point, you've already knocked off 10% of their max health. It just means that you can't heal it back.
Yeah, no, that's what. But that makes it infinitely easier to beat the team, right? Get rid of 20% of their stats, their speed, their health.
Yeah,
it's huge.
You're still gonna stall it out at some point. You're just gonna. If under that, guys, if you don't have a team that can deal the damage, you'll never clear anyways.
Mm-hmm. I understand that your opponent can do the same thing, Tommy, but if they've already one-tapped full cleared you, right? Even if it's inefficiently, they've chosen to go heavy defense, right? So they're really sloppy in their offense, but they do full clear you. But you on the other hand, have been incredibly efficient, but you just can't kill this one team. Do you really deserve to win that? Because you can whittle away their stamina?
No, it's 100% where I'm at, man. It's like, no. The answer is no.
Defense should matter. Defense should matter, in my opinion.
It ruins the whole point of strategizing, of setting team comps, farming datacrons. It doesn't matter anymore. It goes right out the window. You just go, I do whatever I want, because no matter what my opponent does, I can always send a few teams at it to whittle it down to something that's stronger for me to go up against my crappier team. That would disincentivize so many players so quickly into trying and investing and spending money or doing anything in the game. Because why care? If I can just send characters at it to die and then clear you.
Okay, well, here's one team on defense that you might suck against, and then go from there. I don't think it's a good system. I think it's just would be way too abusable.
I think it would completely change GAC. I think everybody would be going incredibly heavy defense. I think everybody would set all GLs on defense, and it's just going to be an utter slogfest.
Yeah.
But other things it's like you could deliberately 2-tap certain teams just to be like, oh, this is a GL. I just want to take off 10% of their stamina, so they lose 10% of their stats, and then I'm taking in my real counter.
So they lose 10% of their speed, so I outrun you.
Stuff like that,
and then I win. Yeah, no, it's just
I think it changes too much.
I get the idea, but it ruins the whole point of GAC. It's a strategy-based game mode. Like, you have to try to analyze your opponent and plan and then attack.
And if you screw that up, that's on you. Learn and improve for next time. Don't sit there and go, well, it's not fair that I couldn't clear. That's the game. Like
sometimes, and sometimes you just get bad RNG in this game. Then that's the other part of this that we haven't talked about.
Sometimes you throw rocks.
The RNG. Like yesterday, I went in there with the executive versus my Leviathan.
Yeah,
I lost.
Got roasted.
It's like they went right after that. It's like, God damn. I've done that fight 100 times, and 99 of the times I'm going to win. But that fight, I was like, God damn it!
Unless the system goes negative banners, like Tommy, the only way the system works at all, and which would incentivize people from abusing the crap out of it, is negative banners. So, like, let's say
for every team you use, it's like -5 to your banners.
Once you are over 5 teams, you start doing negative banners. So it's like if you win that run now, we're going to take away 50 banners from your score.
Yeah, start pulling it from that's
the only way to
get from that zone.
Yeah. So that's the only way you'd get people to not abuse the crap out of it, because it would have a negative impact. There has to be something severely negative to it to get players not to abuse it. Which at that point, why should it exist? It doesn't need to exist at that point.
Yeah, I think the problem with GAC is the matchmaking's borked, right? We've talked about that before. The RNG can be frustrating because you can have counters, but just sometimes shit goes wrong. Now, you can overcome that if you have as your roster expands, you have options, right? But then you have to know, if I use this team to clean up, now I got to go over here and use this other team here. It's just the way it has. But I don't know what the perfect system for GAC is. I mean, every game that I play, there's no perfect system, but sometimes it just happens. I've had runs where it's like cleared everything, no problems whatsoever. My counters work beautifully, things of that nature. But then sometimes they don't, and you're just like, okay. But I don't know what a good answer for that is, and for us at the high level, it's like, is that a problem? So I mean, maybe there's something in the system that's more involved with the lower tier, mid tier. But then again, if you're getting matched with somebody that has something you don't and you can't get past it, that's just could be a matchmaking thing. So yeah.
I really quick talking about the higher tiers. So people are running into this whole idea of defense versus offense because there's just too many teams at this point. And so we're looking at maybe having another, expansion, what happened for fleets and that kind of thing. I'm curious what you guys think of this. I was talking on stream a couple weeks ago about this. In GAC, we have the 4 sectors. What if we added a back sector so you can get to it just like in Territory Wars from either side? And then you'd be able to, in Carbonite, you'd end up with 1 extra team overall. And so it's not going to affect Carbonite that much. And going up, it'll just affect each kind of group just a little bit without, overly doing too much. And so then we're not just adding in another fleet and adding in another thing, especially because it's going to make the separation from Erodium to Kyber just really, really large.
Yes. We talked about this last week to some extent. I think the general gist of it is that they need to create a new division and then just expand from there. Because if you mess with the current stuff too much, it's going to punish the players. Kyber is a massive division overall from start to finish. That it doesn't make sense to do things that would only impact one portion of Kyber, because it's just if you do, because their whole thing is it's for everybody. Every Kyber gets it. Okay, that's going to be too taxing for 90% of the players that are outside of the top half of Kyber 2 and Kyber 5. So all right, let's not do that. Just create a new tier, give a cap that's reasonably moderate for people to get into, and then just go there, and then give us a bigger board, and that gives players, and then give more rewards. Don't take anything away, you just give more. And then players that go play there, they are realizing that playing in this area means more time spent playing GAC, more time doing battles, more time doing all this other stuff. But then you can have a good time doing that. Go have fun. But the reality of it is that there's no way for them to really adjust the board that makes sense in the current division bracket setup without them adding a new division. They just got to make something that goes, okay, hey, new sector, 4 more teams. We're adding 1 more fleet battle, ready, go. and push out a new division. Otherwise, we're just going to punish the mid game players too much that they're just not going to have any fun.
Yeah. We have spoken about this subject a couple of times, and I think I always come back to my problem is like there's nothing's going to stop new releases coming to this game, new kits, new characters, new ships. It's always going to be an expanding roster, and with an expanding roster, we're always going to have more solutions. So adding in an extra zone sounds like a good idea, but it's just a band-aid. It's like, okay, so eventually we're going to find ourselves in the same position again. Might be now, might be 2 years down the road, but eventually we'll be like, oh, defense still doesn't matter because we've got 30, 40 more teams that we can use. And I think addressing the issue is more important than just keep on slapping additional teams for us to beat in GAC. So I know I've spoken about it before, about having operations within GAC or platoons within GAC. That don't necessarily say, not like you have in TB, where it's like, you must platoon R7 ETH Goth to get the following benefits. It'll be like any overflow from trashy characters or any overflow that you throw in gradually have more and more benefit the more total GP that you platoon in each zone, or something to that effect. Because that means you don't have to actually fight anymore, but you still use up the roster, and you have to make a decision between, I'm willing to sacrifice
attackers this. To get 5% offense or 10% offense in the zone, like they just become another iteration of datacrons. Like you would platoon certain characters to get a net positive bonus for the zone that you wouldn't have otherwise, but it's nothing going to be that's drastically crazy where it's like, and you can only fill it out once. Like let's say they allow you to platoon up to 15 things. You can do 5 support healers, 5 tanks, and 5 attackers, and then each of those gives you something that you can use. Because, I mean, right now in 5v5, you need a grand total of 55 ground team, 55 ground members, 11 times 5, yeah. And there's 260 characters in the game.
Yeah, so I don't know what the actual solution is, but...
Well, it's 100. Some of the solutions is... Yeah, some of the solutions are the divisions and the amount of teams and stuff that you do for each division. CG needs to be more proactive with that. There should be a GP range on top of what they're doing for each of these divisions, right? You can't have a 9 million GP player, which happened to someone that has 1.9 is facing someone with 9 something million. You know, that's just evil, you know? So if you, in each zone, you expand and be proactive where the higher you are, the more teams and stuff required, so that players in the lower tier are only having, you know, we already have that in place. We need to expand it out a little bit more, but when you do an expansion, it should be higher up first, then downwards. And if downward is pretty stable and you're keeping the GP range, now every account's made differently, right? If someone whaled on certain things at 5 million GP and you have 5 million GP, but you don't have some of the stuff they do, that's just the nature of the beast, right? There's only so much we can do with it. But I think if we can condense, keeping some of the bigger counts out of the lower section and vice versa, you know, if you want to climb, then you have to understand, if you go to the next division, you're going to need extra certain amount of teams for this division, because that's just the way it's set up. But they haven't touched it in over a year, 2 years? They've done
it's been a long
GAC,
time. Yeah,
a very long time. And it's like, yeah, but now you've had all these different teams, and now we got datacrons and omicrons and all this stuff, and you know, it's like we got to be a little bit more proactive with GAC. You know, stick with what's working. Let's tighten it up a little bit. I think small things like that, tightening the ship on GAC and limiting some of this stuff, you know, it's like, I think that would make a ginormous difference in people's experience, you know, with what they're facing. You know, when we've all heard the horror stories. You know, there's sometimes you're just going to get matched up with somebody that's just outside your range, right? Especially in Kyber 1. But I think if you take the big wigs, create a new division, then you have, you know, like we'll call it Platinum. And then you've got Kyber 1 through Kyber 5. And then a road and down the line. But there's a certain threshold of GP and or characters you have to have. And you should give players the options. If they don't want to climb up to the next one yet, they should be forced to. They can just say, I was going to stay top here until I'm ready to go, right? But at a certain point, though, if you hit a certain amount of character threshold or GP, it's like, sorry, you can't sit there and just get the rewards here. You've got to be pushed up into the next bracket. So there's stuff like that they could do, but good Lord, man, they haven't touched it. So we're throwing all these ideas out and trying to address all these issues, and the issues keep compounding because they don't do anything with it. And it's like, God dang it, do something.
Yeah, and I think the problem with keeping it how it is and like adding in something like platoons, like you mentioned, or something else in it without expanding is just we're gonna end up with it's the Marvel Strike Force problem, one of the big reasons why I stopped playing it, and just a big problem in literally any kind of media, which is power creep overtaking. I think that the institution of Galactic Legends and this rock, paper, scissors system between Galactic Legends is fantastic. It allows us to have, an apex, and then there's all the other stuff. And so it allows us to kind of have that and still have our fun with the teams that we like to use. And so if we just keep it where it is, it's just going to keep power creeping, and then these teams are just going to become completely obsolete. And so there'll never be a reason to farm Jedi Knight Revan. But I'm like, I want to farm Jedi Knight Revan. I like Revan as a character. So that's kind of my worry, and just, leaving it how it is and not expanding is it's just going to leave it so that way we can't enjoy the characters we love, and we have to be chasing meta, which is going to drop a lot of players off, because, a lot of players are playing this game because they can have their PP and they can enjoy their PP.
Absolutely. So, you have to be able to enjoy your PP.
Every time you say PP, I just sit there and go,
yeah, you do.
He means that.
You get a tingle. Yeah. Hevorius comes up with an interesting solution. He says it sounds very disappointing to be able to just platoon. And I agree, it's not great. He's saying he prefers a conquest style where you'd essentially have branching paths to clear a GAC board, and you don't necessarily clear everything. I'm not sure how in totality that would work. It's an interesting suggestion. It would have to be very broad, because obviously if you've got 3 different paths, let's say it's like conquest, there are 3 routes or even 4 routes that you can go through, and maybe there's 5 nodes and there'll be ships in there somewhere as well, and you pick one path to go along and you'll have one team after the other team after the other team. That could be kind of cool, I guess. There'll be a lot of it that you just never see, I guess, unless those paths also converge into a narrow point again, so you, like, no matter which path, you'll always face this team 3 battles in or 4 battles in or whatever it happens to be. It could be a solution, Hevorius. It could be. I think it deserves more thought. It would be a complete overhaul of GAC, which I'm not against.
Yeah,
it's like, like you think about TW, right? Why is that game so stale? They haven't expanded in forever. They haven't touched it in forever. And with the expansion of all the teams, we know what we're facing. We guess front 4 walls are going to be something ludicrous. And then it's what they decided to go more offense or defense with the teams and the back walls, right? Sometimes you may even see in sector 6 and 7 like a GL in one of those 2, and then the last 3, like the back 2 and the bottom 1 or one of the others, is like they're good teams, but it's like, okay, depending on what the datacron is and stuff is what you're going to see, but it's the same stale stuff over and over again. It changes a little bit with your counters and stuff at our level with datacrons, but it's kind of like, is it Inquisitors or is it a GL? Okay, it's Jabba. All right, what's in the south? It's okay. They're interesting. They went Lord Schmader. Okay, fine. It's like, okay. So, but I mean, they're just not being proactive with the PvP in this game, you see all the stuff happening in PvE, but you're not seeing it in PvP like they used to. And their focus is on raids and the TB and things of that nature. But yeah, the PvP has really fallen to the wayside.
I mean, I would suffer through another 8 months of the Endor raid if I could get, some improvements to PvP and some, expanding outwards.
Oh my god, yes.
CG ain't going to do that for us, though, are they? They'll be like, nope, you will panic farm every raid.
Through the Naboo raid.
Hey, at least I get to use the characters' kits that I worked to get.
We don't know that.
I swear, I will full auto the raid and just not care. That's what I did for this raid for the longest time.
All right,
fair, but the high chances that ends up being that they don't do it, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did. Because it's otherwise, why would the Gungans have all this anti-separatist energy they wouldn't need, per se?
Yeah. I'm going to wrap it up there, guys. We've been going for just about 3 hours now. Probably about 2.5 of it has been Tribe Talk. So any final remarks? And Rabid, in particular, as you are a newcomer here to our particular Tribe Talk stream, why don't you take this moment to pimp your shit and tell people where they can find you?
Yeah, no, I mean, I have a Discord, obviously, for my channel, but my channel, he did put the link in the in the chat. I'm hoping he puts it in the description too. But mostly I try to do really in-depth guides for legendary events, and I stream my grand arenas, of course, and just have some good times talking about people's PP. So come on over and have some fun.
You can talk about your PP too. You can open up to him about your PP.
Yes, you truly can. Yeah.
All the tanks R9. That's my PP.
Karth has a large PP of many R9s. Yeah. Any tank.
I've got a mug on the way that says "There's nothing wrong with a little PP" that I can use to drink during streams. It's gonna be great.
Good stuff. Anything you guys want to round out with here tonight, then?
No, just another normal week of stuff. May the 4th, if you don't mind me pimping that. I am going to be in the full Beskar Mando costume. And trust me, I'm getting all the bells and whistles are finally ordered. So I finally got the whistling birds coming in, and I finally have the other digital display on the right one coming in, and I've got a new sound system coming in for the helmet, so I will sound like the Mando, and I can actually talk to people now and be able to hear them and speak to them, and it'll sound like me, and it comes from the front and everything. So, and that's all thanks to you guys that's watched my stream, and so many shoeys. I wish I could say I spent all my stuff on hookers and blow, but I just raise money for charity and do stuff like the Mando costume.
Just get cirrhosis and liver disease. Yeah,
it really is why I work out a lot. But May 4th is here in the Birmingham area. They're having a big celebration, and if you were around that area and you want to come see and get your photo taken with me and with the full, the full regalia of me in my Beskar costume, then feel free to come by. It's pimp as shit. And we do that. We'll be giving away ACS stuff and some other stuff with the shop I'm working with as well. And, giving for any lanyards, things of that nature. So come check it out on May the 4th.
Absolutely. And Karth, you want to talk about your new charity drive and your new Twitch stream that you're getting up, right?
My new charity drive? Yeah, my charity drive to 100%.
R9 more tanks?
Cut back on. Yeah, 9 more tanks. I need people to donate to my PayPal. I need people to donate to Ranger's PayPal so that he can buy me the gift packs.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that could happen.
What about my Gungans?
Your Gungans don't matter.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Enjoy Conquest starting tomorrow evening, everybody. Have fun. I've got a bunch of guides out if you need.
I'll finish it in like 3 days and then
on datacrons. Yay!
Hey, it's an important part of the game. It's like I get so many questions on like how do I perform better in GAC, and the answer is like, well,
more datacrons.
Once your mods are in place, once you've got the teams in order. It's datacron farming, man. Like it's 100%. We learn how to budget your resources to do it properly. Like I can exploit it to you, but it still sucks.
Well, I'm literally putting a video guide out on that tomorrow to coincide with the release of Conquest.
Oh, there we go.
How to conquest and maximize datacrons. It isn't rocket science at all.
It's not. I mean, I don't.
You would be surprised though. Like, like I don't spend a ton on my alternate account. Like it might get like $50 a month at the most of it on crystals related things. Everything else is just what it generates passively.
Yeah, same.
I don't have as many level 9 crons on that account as I do on my main. My main just has more rerolls. That's the main difference between the two. It's like it's just learning about where to invest and what to put on the back burner, and it's where you're at too. Like honestly, if you're not in Kyber 2 or above, don't give a shit about them. They ain't gonna impact many of your games. They might every once in a while. You just gotta learn how to get around them.
Yeah,
but until you're in Kyber, upper Kyber 2, Kyber 1, like don't fuss about them. Once you're there,
I'm in Kyber 3, and I got an opponent who put an 8 GL defense, but there's not a single datacron. So I'm
nice.
Okay.
all the GLs and no DCs. I love it.
My alternate account was run by a buddy of mine, and he didn't play GAC for a whole season, and so it fell in like Kyber 3, and so I took it over from him, and it's like the first like months, 2 seasons coming out of it, I was just undefeated, like 18-0, because I was just beating up on handicap kids the entire time, man. It's just like no datacrons, no nothing, just just run around. And I'm like, oh man, you remember when these old counters just work because they were the counter?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they work now. They work again. They work again. But yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like you have to just you have to maximize your resource income.
You will eventually in this game, and Car's 1,000% right. You will eventually in this game hit a point of saturation with certain stuff. You just will. Because as you get certain teams done and certain things done, it expands. It's a cascading effect, whether it's mods, because you'll run out of mod space, but you'll start being more specific about the mods as you roll mods and you get rid of the other ones and stuff. And it's the same thing with datacrons. If you work on datacrons, eventually, even for me, and I don't spend anything like I don't spend period on datacrons, but yet I've got every single level 9 plus a bunch of other ones. How? Well, because I just reached that point of saturation, so yeah.
Quick side note, I don't know if you've already recorded your video, Scribe, but for those people who can't do hard conquest all the way through and they want themselves a Raycron or anything that's specific because they have like that character and they want it to be really good for that season.
They are normal conquest. White side Ray bundle.
Yeah, normal conquest is actually the better deal for getting datacrons because it's almost the same drop rates and it's less energy per thing. And so if they are pushing datacrons, go normal if you can only hit like the first crate or second crate on hard mode. Because you'll just end up with more datacrons. So if that's what you're focusing on and you can't get close to Quadme, might as well do it.
Quadme.
Always makes me think of a duck. Quack, quack,
yeah,
quack.
No, that's exactly. I'm just totally
solid.
Picturing now Padme Amidala in that same brown robe, but a duck head.
I'm sure there's art of it somewhere on the internet.
There probably is.
Welcome to the internet. Rule 34, there's probably some porn of Padme as a duck.
Whoa. That's not the same.
That is the same thing.
No, it's not. That's going to get...
God.
Yeah.
It happens. I promise you it's there. I'm speaking from I'm not speaking from experience.
Sounds like you're kind of speaking from experience.
Oh, well,
Padme as a duck, Rule 34, Scribe.
Post submitted by Scribe. Like, wait a minute, what?
I quickly delete the last 4 days of my internet history.
Yes, indeed. That's how we do. All right. Okay, cool. I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us for Tribe Talks. And thank you to Rabbit for joining us as a guest on short notice. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate that, mate. It's great having you on. Absolutely. I'm going to send us over to Calvin. Calvin is live right now, so you get to have potentially a sober Calvin, because last time I saw him, he was knocking back shots like they were going out of fashion, and it was great. It was great.
The heavy drinker.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Peace out and good night.